Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my co-pilot. I have Joe Blewett from Jets X Factor. Joe, how you doing?
Doing really well, man. Excited to kick off like a new era for the both of us with Jets X Factor and Jets Talk kind of combining. Wearing a really comfortable, form-fitting, like a lot of cotton T-shirt right here. And I've always wondered, Ryan, when I was watching the shows, what did you do pre-show when you're walking to the computer? And now I finally figured it out, and it's top secret, so I'll never tell anybody. So I love that I know that now.
See, little top secret is when I do these streams, Joe is on Zoom, and he's actually coming through my webcam on my second monitor, so he can actually see everything that's going on. Normally I'm going to grab a beer or something, but I actually grabbed my drink prior, so that was just for dramatic effect this time. So unfortunately, not a whole lot of interesting stuff. Before we get into everything, we do have a sponsor. Got to pay some bills. Want to get advantage? Let's try this again. Want to get an advantage over your sportsbook? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports and gives you the reasoning behind why you should place the bet. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, and player prop bets. Don't want to use the model and prefer to do your own research? BetQL has all the necessary tools for you to research your needs. There is sharp data so you can see who the pros are backing, line movement so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time, team summaries highlighting previous success against the spread and the over-under, the team lineup, breaking news, and injury status updates. Plus, you can save all your picks in one place to track your success and winning streaks as well as view your rank on their leaderboards. Head over to the Google App Store or the App Store on Apple to download BetQL. You can also head to try.betql.co/JetsTalk to get started now. Enter discount code JetsTalk at payment checkout for 25% off any of their subscription offerings. You can find all this information in the description of this video. Make sure to check out their BetMGM offer in the description in order to receive your free year of BetQL. Also, check out their sportsbook offers page if you live in one of the eligible states to claim free offers upon signing up at one of the many sportsbooks listed. Don't miss out on your chance to beat your sportsbooks this football season. Whew, that was a mouthful. All right, Joe, I am excited to talk a little football with you. Why don't we give the chat a little bit of insight? What have you been doing over at Jets X Factor, and what do you guys got planned for the upcoming season?
A ton. Obviously, you have Nania, who puts out probably 5 articles a day based on stats. I think I just counted the other day. I had 36 reviews out. I think it's like 32 player reviews and 3 or 4 games, all of them being anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours, really, obviously diving deep into all that stuff. I'm sure at least a couple of people in here know. And obviously, as well. So film analytics, just grinding it out. So that's what Jets X Factor is about. So to be really simple with it.
I love it. I love seeing everything you guys are doing over there. Guys, if you have not subscribed to Joe or any of the Jets X Factor guys, there's a link down in the description down below. Subscribe to them on YouTube. They're going to be on here every Monday for about an hour talking Jets with us. And then I also have their Twitters down below. So if you guys are on Twitter all the time and you want to hear their live reactions to different things that are popping up in the Jet sphere, they got some great stuff going on down there. So, Joe, let's talk a little bit about what has happened over the course of the offseason for the New York Jets. We've brought in a bunch of free agents. We've brought in a bunch of draft picks. So I want to get your thoughts. Who are you most excited to see going into the season? Let's say on the offensive side, then we'll go on the defensive side. So offensive-wise, draft and free agent. Give me a little bit of both, because I think we're all probably thinking Zach Wilson and that sort of stuff.
Draft and free agent for both offense and defense?
Yeah,
I could pull it off. I think for the offense, and it's the most generic answer really ever, because everybody's really excited to see Elijah Moore. So Elijah Moore, obviously the guy dominated in the SEC, put up numbers that were comparable to AJ Brown and DK Metcalf, and actually kind of outpaced them in terms of yardage and things like that. So he absolutely dominated. And then you draft him at 34, and everybody initially, or at least I can speak for a lot of Jets fans who are in my feed, were kind of like, at first. And then they watched the film, they heard about the guy, you know, they heard about him in training camp, and everybody's like super, super pumped up. Like nobody would take back that pick now. So gotta be really excited for him. And then I'm going to throw in, you know, I'm kind of going against the rules here, but it is what it is. ABT as well from the draft. Obviously, to be really excited about him. The whole offense, in terms of young players, you have to be excited about. And in terms of free agents, it's really another guy who it's at the receiver position, but it's Corey Davis. In terms of his connection that he's building with Zach, the amount of targets he's seen in the preseason, I think he's seen like 70% of the targets when Zach Wilson's in there, or maybe a little bit higher, but it's somewhere right around there, which is an absurd mark. So you think he's going to have a pretty big year, and he's a really intriguing receiver in terms of a guy who didn't necessarily hit his stride, you know, until year 3 or 4. And now we're hoping to see him, you know, continue building on that at this point. So you got to be really excited about him as a free agent. Now, in terms of the defense, I'm interested to see the linebackers, the younger linebackers from the draft, just because one, I think Homs is exciting. I have some concerns about Sherwood. When I did that review, I put that out there. But that's going to be that's a big focal point of the defense, especially with a 4-3 front. You know, that's going to be attacking. If that first level doesn't get there, just based on whatever the run is, trap, zone, whatever, the linebackers are going to have a lot of emphasis both to cover up in the run game because of that attacking front, and it's also going to have a lot of emphasis because of Salah's defense and what he likes to do. So I'm really interested to see the linebackers and what they could do and how they respond, especially, you know, with J.R. Davis coming out, because now you're going to have Sherwood and Hamza in that base. So that's going to be super, super interesting. And then in terms of a free agent signing on the defensive front, I'm going to go with Sheldon Rankins, because you watch his 2018, the guy was absolutely dominating people. Like, I put up a play of him just destroying Elfline today, which, if you know the Jets matchup versus the Panthers, they're playing Elfline, and another bad guard, another center who's bad, and a left tackle who's bad. So that's kind of exciting, but really, really good in 2018. Obviously, he had the injury. I think he tore his Achilles or his ACL. I forget exactly what it was. He battled a couple of injuries. 2019 didn't look as good. Was kind of just leaning into a lot of blocks. He just didn't look like he was healthy. And then 2020, he started to slowly rebound back into that 2018 form. So obviously I would have said Carl Lawson 2 weeks ago, but unfortunately it's not 2 weeks ago. So I'm looking at Sheldon Rankins and seeing if him and Q could be a top 5 D tackle unit in terms of rushing the passer. So those are some of the guys I'm really excited for. So.
Yeah, offensively, I think Elijah Vera Tucker would probably be it's tough because like the first 4 picks just feel like they're such like long-term contributors to this team without even like seeing them aside from like, we haven't seen Elijah Vera Tucker at all preseason. We didn't see Elijah Moore at all preseason, and we didn't really see a lot of Michael Carter. We got, I don't know, probably 20 runs over the course of 3 games, maybe. I'd have to look back exactly what it is. But I'm excited for what this team is building around. I would say free agent-wise, I'm definitely excited for Corey Davis. You know what? I'll pick a different one. I like 𝐗-𝐿 a lot. I'm a big fan of 𝐗-𝐿. I know he's not going to be like our number 1 receiver by any stretch of the imagination. You know, if he winds up being our 4th guy or 5th guy, the guy's just really good at contested catches. He seems like a glue guy. Like, you have him in training camp, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's palling around with Denzel Mims. You're watching the One Jets Drive episodes, and the guy's just cracking jokes. I'm watching his press conferences. He's talking about the helicopter, and he's just like, "Ooh, helicopter, get out of here! You're ruining the shot." Ooh, unless that's the owners, then you know, my bad. I take that back. Like, he just seems like a fun guy to have on a team, and I feel like you need players like that kind of, you know, maybe they're not the top tier guys, but it kind of sticks everyone together. Yeah. Yep. And then defensively, I like LaMarcus Joyner. I like that move. I think he was playing nickel in Las Vegas for the last 2 years, and he really did not perform well there. So him moving back to the safety position, I don't know if he's going to wind up starting or if we're going to have one of our younger guys kind of in there. I think Ashton Davis is out for the first 6 weeks, I think. I'm pretty sure when he's on the PUP list or whatever he's on. Draft pick-wise, I think I'll go, you know, the opposite of your Sherwood pick, and I'll say 𝐚𝐼𝐟𝐻𝐿 on the other side. Just seeing some of these converted safeties to linebacker hybrids, I want to see how that plays out for the New York Jets. I don't have a whole lot of hope. Like you said, I was excited for Carl Lawson, I was excited for Vinny Curry, I was excited for J.R. Davis, and then just like piece by piece, we're kind of getting broken down in that front 7. I would say maybe from a defensive perspective, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing CJ Mosley after 2 years. Like, what does he have at this point? Is he going to revert back to 2 years ago's form, or are we going to see that age process and, not playing football for 2 years really come back and bite him the way, it kind of happened with Bell? Well, I guess let's talk about that a little bit. How are you feeling about CJ Mosley? Do you think the loss of weight, the speed we've kind of seen a little bit from him,
Yeah.
are we getting original CJ Mosley, or are we getting like the off-brand CJ Mosley?
The OG Mosley. Some people in the chat, by the way, are saying it's a little bit choppy. I don't know if some people are still having that problem. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm probably sucking up too many resources.
Close the tabs, Ryan.
You know what it is? I have a few tabs, but I have a fantasy draft at like 9:30, and I know if I don't log into it now, I'm gonna get smoked. The issue with that is I have a few friends that watch these streams, and they're gonna know my picks that I'm talking about later on in this stream. So
Don't talk about it. But now in terms of Mosley, I've been and I appreciate some of the compliments in the chat. I feel like I'm relatively realistic, and with that being said, I've said all offseason that I think Mosley will be a top 10 inside linebacker this year. I just don't. He never thrived on athleticism. Now, if he was a guy who thrived on athleticism in Baltimore, even that first game with the Jets, then yes, I would be more concerned. But with that being said, he's a guy who is absurdly smart mentally. How to line up, leverages, coverages, how to pass guys off, the 2 to the 3, to the 3 to the 2. Just technique in terms of staying square, how to shed blocks. Like he's really, really technical. So I don't think him being off for a year or two, that kind of stems more around his athleticism and maybe the lack thereof because he's been off. Maybe he's rusty for a week or two because it's obviously hard to replicate those game reps on the couch. But I can't see him being anywhere lower than a top 10 inside linebacker this year. So I'm really, really faithful. Now, is he going to play up to $17 million a year? Maybe not. But he's going to be a massive cog to this defense. So I'm really, really excited to see Mosley.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the trade aspects that we've kind of gotten into. And after we lost Shaq Lawson to the Achilles injury, the Jets went out and traded a 2022 6th-round pick for Shaq Lawson from the Houston Texans. Now, we didn't get to see him really play for the Texans. He played in Miami last year. How are you feeling about Shaq Lawson? Should we be excited about the edge presence? I know we're probably not as hyped as what we got to see out of Shaq Lawson. I think expectations are probably pulled back a little bit. Yeah. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
No, it's not a true 1-for-1 switch off with Lawson to Lawson. But Shaq is a solid player. Like considering what they gave up, like if you really look at the trade, it's like Jordan Willis in the 7th-round pick, because they got the 6th-round pick from that and etc. So Jordan Willis in the 7th-round pick and Jordan Willis was a guy that offseason who's most likely going to be cut. Like I didn't really see him even making the roster. So when they traded him for something, that him and the 7th to get a 6th, I was surprised. So again, you traded that for Shaq, who. Listen, like you could look into his stats, and I know some of the stats looked almost as good as Shaq Lawson. Shaq Lawson was an absolute beast. Like he's a top 10 defensive end easily, and that's being conservative. Like the guy was an absolute monster. We saw it in camp, or at least reports in camp. Now he was dominating back then, 2-3 sacks a day. Like there's a reason to be really excited about him. Now, obviously, when he comes back, maybe it's to temper our expectations a little bit. I still think he'll be solid, but that's a conversation for 6 months down the road, 8 months down the road. But in terms of Shaq Lawson, like what you're looking at when you trade for him, like what this year is right around $1.5 million, and then next year it's like right about $5 million. And when I watched him
next year,
so I'm pretty sure they actually absorbed some of the contract, and it's only going to be like right around $5 million next year too. So you're looking at a guy who could be a 2-year starter for you. Maybe you sign him down the road because he's 27, 28 years old now. I've heard some people say he's like a Vinny Curry replacement. They're completely different players. If anything, Shaq Lawson to me is more. He's a really solid run stuffer. So that's the first thing you have to know. Is that sexy? Is that exciting? Not necessarily. But when I watched him, I was really excited about his run stuffing ability because obviously we watched the preseason, right? What did the Jets struggle with in all 3 of the preseason games? They got absolutely gashed on the ground. Now it'll be a little bit different, obviously, when you have Rankins in there, when you have Foley in there, when you have Q in there. But at the same time, Rankins can get moved around in the running game a little bit. JFM is not the strongest run defender. And then I kind of already previewed it with the linebackers in terms of Hamza and Sherwood. they can get jacked up in the running game a little bit, not only because of their mentality, and I saw it on film a little bit with the preseason, their lack of trigger a little bit. They're thinking too much and they're kind of too complacent with being blocked. So they'll have to learn how to pull the trigger a little bit quicker because at safety, you get to come up and react a little bit slower, where linebacker, and they said it in their interviews, everything happens a lot quicker. So they're gonna have to adjust that, and it showed in preseason. And they're light on top of that. So with all that being said, they needed another run stuffing type of guy. Ronald Blair is injured right now. So Shaq Lawson provides that. So it's actually kind of comforting to know that he's going to help us solidify the run defense. And then with that, he's an okay pass rusher. Not super twitchy, not super explosive, but relatively good hand usage, relatively good power. So he's a guy who can get you, those 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks maybe a year. But he's not going to be overly dynamic, but he'll still be productive enough on the edge while being a really solid run stuffer. So I think for getting a 3-down player who's still in his prime, it's a good trade. And a lot of people look into what the Texans were kind of doing with that. Why did they trade him? Why were they playing him in the 4th round? Why did the Texans trade DeAndre Hopkins for like a 2nd-round pick? I'm not trying to get into their mentality. So
Bill O'Brien's not there though. That's what everyone's worried about, right?
Yeah. Still, they're just not necessarily the most stable franchise right now. So yeah, it's slightly concerning that he was struggling in the preseason for them. But there are some guys who there's been plenty of examples of guys who don't necessarily go the hardest in preseason or in camp, and they still ball out during the games. And you'd think that with a lot more talent around him, he'd be able to do that. And like I said, just based on what I watched in the regular season the last 2 years with the Dolphins and with the Bills, I think he'd be ecstatic with that trade, to be completely honest. Now, don't expect him to be Carl Lawson, but again, for a guy who's going to cost you, over 2 years, about $7 million for a 6th-round pick, you should be pretty excited about him.
Guys, I'm here with Joe Blewett from Jets X Factor. If you've not subscribed to him and the Jets X Factor channel, links are all down below in the description. I'm going to have him, Michael Nanny, and 𝐷𝐷𝐷 on over the course of the season, talking Jets for an hour every Monday. So if you guys want to hang out with us, make sure you tune in to that every week. When I was looking at Shaq Lawson's stats, I was sitting down, I was trying to make my video, and I was like, all right, what am I learning about this guy? I go over to, I don't know if you've ever heard of this website. Sys Data Hub is it's got like different metrics and things like that. So I'm looking through it, and I'm like, okay, I wonder what Carl Lawson is compared to Shaq Lawson. And like, is there any sort of hope that I could have without watching film? And I'm looking at his pressure percentage, his hit percentage, and his hurry percentage are all higher on a per snap basis than Carl Lawson's was. Now his sack percentage is slightly lower, but I was pleasantly surprised that it was closer than I thought. I thought it was going to be a way bigger drop off than at least those metrics had on there. As far as another trade, we could go to the offensive side of the ball. Someone I thought was probably going to get cut, or at the very least would have been, not our starting tight end, and that's Chris Herndon. Chris Herndon gets moved to the Minnesota Vikings. The Jets gave up Chris Herndon, a 6th-round pick, and I believe they ate like $1.8 million in salary cap, I think, to facilitate the trade. And the Jets wind up getting back a 4th-round pick this year. How are you feeling about that trade? What do you think about Herndon? What do you think about the tight end position in general for the New York Jets this year?
So we're kind of positive at first. Obviously, with the Herndon trade, I'm a huge fan. Did any of us think that we'd be able to get a 4th-round pick back? And obviously, we just send a 6th as well. But the 4th round and the end of the 4th round is when it starts to end that not necessarily premium, but semi-premium type capital. So I'm excited to get something back for Herndon, who I think realistically, I don't think any of us would have bet our houses on that he would have gotten cut. But if somebody told you, hey, he's going to get cut, telling the future, we wouldn't have thought the guy was completely out of his mind. So he's been underperforming in preseason. He had 1 catch for 9 yards. So a guy who had obviously a higher outlook at the end of his rookie year, but after that, he's obviously disappointed massively. So I'm happy to get something back from him. That's awesome. Getting pretty premium capital for a guy who hasn't produced much. And then in terms of the tight end position in general, it's not thrilling. Let's be honest. It's one of the probably bottom 5 units in the NFL. I think it has some potential though, and with that factored in, Wesco is not really a tight end for us. He's more of a fullback. And then past that, you have Ryan Griffin, who openly admitted he's never going to be his same self that he was in 2019, a couple of years ago when we signed him. And then you have Daniel Brown, who's a good special teamer and semi blocker. And then past that, you have Croft, who I think to me, and if you people who did watch the review of him I said as soon as I did that review, he's easily the best tight end on the roster, and that's when we had Herndon. So he was definitely the best tight end. He's a good blocker. He's a semi-good receiver. He's a little bit underrated in terms of his athleticism. And he proved that he could be a lower tier number one in Cincinnati in 2017, I think. But the problem with him is injuries. So if you can guarantee me he's not injured this year, I'd be much more comfortable with the tight end position. But you have to figure, just based on his history, he's going to go down. And then you probably have maybe you sign Yeboah from the practice squad, you have Daniel Brown and Ryan Griffin as your tight ends. Like, let's be honest here. It's a bottom 5 unit, and then you're going to have to invest some premium capital in next year. But again, being optimistic, okay, Tyler Kroft, the Jets got that whole new training staff. He's going to stay healthy, and he's a lower tier number one, like a solid number two, if he's healthy. But I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. So I am pessimistic about it, but there is some reason to be optimistic if you're assuming he's healthy.
Yeah, I was really happy with the trade compensation we got for Herndon. I don't mind eating the money or giving back a 6th round pick. We had 11 picks, I think, prior to that deal. So swapping picks for that sort of increase in round, I think, is more important for us than just taking some flyers on late round guys. I was always hopeful. I drafted Chris Herndon in one of my fantasy leagues this year because I'm like, all right, maybe he's just going to be better elsewhere. It was a later pick. He's like my backup tight end, so nothing like I'm not starting this guy anywhere. In terms of the Jets tight ends, my one buddy who's a big Giants fan, he's actually like his secondary team would be like the Bills. He was like, oh, I like Tyler Kroft a lot. I was like, I'm sure Herndon's going to start and whatever. And this was like back in, April or May, whenever we signed him. I was like, and then it got closer and closer, and we're watching him play in the preseason. I was like, man, Kroft definitely looks a lot better than Herndon does. And again, it's the injuries that are the biggest concern. If he could stay healthy, then I think we at least have a reasonable starter in the league. But I agree, you have to go into next season going to spend some premium draft capital or free agent money to go out and get a guy. The Jets are set to have about $65 million in cap space before we roll anything over for this year. And then we have, obviously, the 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks next year. So I guess, is there a route you'd like to see the Jets go? I know a lot of people have thrown around the whole idea of bringing in Zach Ertz. He's, 32 now? I know he said he wants to retire an Eagle, but...
I think he's 30. I think he's 31 or 31. I could be wrong. I think I could be wrong.
Maybe he could be a little younger.
Yeah.
Would you go out and trade for someone like Zach Ertz, or do you think this team maybe should focus on other aspects for this year and use some of that capital differently moving forward?
In a perfect world, obviously you'd want to invest in the young guy, who could be with the team for future years, just because the Jets window isn't now. I think we'd all agree that their window, starts maybe next year. Next year, I think we'd all expect the Jets to be competing for the playoffs, like you mentioned with that cap space. I'm not sure exactly. I know there's some dead money coming off, Tremaine Johnson, and they're going to have to maybe sign Quinn Williams. Like, the money might drop a little bit, but they're still top 5 in cap space. They have 10 picks now, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, 2 sixths.
2 sixths,
yeah. So they have a ton of capital, so we'd expect them to compete next year. But still, with that being said, so I'm more willing to kind of give a little bit on the defense. Like, would I have liked to see, maybe Steven Nelson or KJ Wright or Nicholas Morrow or like somebody on defense? Yes, ideally I would have, but I'm willing to pass that off and say, okay, the Jets are going to kind of have a prove-it year with those corners. And if you can see that even if one of those guys can end up being a starter, whether it be Carter or Pinnock, you're making out, let's be honest, because they're fifth, 6th round picks. So I think they're kind of testing the waters with those guys and seeing what they really need next year and what they need to invest. But kind of going back to the offense, I'm not on the same wavelength with the offense, because there's a big difference between the offense and the defense right now. And the reason on offense is we have Zach Mother effing Wilson, and we need to surround him with some talent. So some of the guys who were out there, I think Disley apparently might have been available in a trade. I think Hayden Hurst, they said, might be available. But again, this is all like stupid, like
speculation.
Speculation from whatever random Twitter account. Now, in terms of Ertz, like, again, ideally, I wouldn't want to trade for a guy like that, but just to make Zach Wilson comfortable for a 6th round pick, throw it for Zach Ertz, who's I think 31 years old, a guy who people will look at, because the problem is people will type in stats. Okay, what were his stats last year? He had 400 yards. Oh, he's so terrible. And maybe he did drop off a little bit. Obviously, he's not getting 800 yards a year. 900 yards a year, but with that,
no starting quarterback will do that. To you.
Well, that, and you look at it and you say, okay, well, Dallas Goedert is developing into a top half of the league tight end. So you're not going to keep Goedert on the bench for a guy who is obviously declining. So while he might have 350, 400 yards for the Eagles last year, if he's the Jets' #1 tight end, maybe he gets 500-600 yards this year, So you can't just type in the stats. You have to look at the situation that he's in. So he's the #2 tight end on that team. So, for a guy who's going to be relatively productive, like even if he had 400 yards, like when's the last time the Jets have had a 400-yard guy? Like that was Chris Herndon. That's what we're all ecstatic about him. So if he had 400 yards for the Jets this year, which would be a bad year for Ertz, am I willing to sacrifice a 6th-round pick to make Zach Wilson more comfortable in year 1 and then obviously invest more premium capital into it next year? Yes, I am. So that's that. I would be very willing to do that, even though I would be, I'm not like gladly giving away the pick because he's only going to be here for a year, maybe 2. But at the same time, whatever makes Zach comfortable, that's exactly what I want. So.
Oh, we got Green Bean in the chat. What's up, Green Bean? I see Jets by Jimmy over there. Chris Brannigan becoming a member of the channel. I'd throw it up on the screen, but I had to close some windows because my audio was choppy and stuff was dying on me. So I can't throw it on the screen, but thank you so much for becoming a newest member, Chris. Joe S. drops in the super chat. He says, any concerns on Joe Douglas's first draft turning out? I know I've heard a lot of criticism of Joe Douglas's first draft. And I don't share that same sentiment as a lot of people do, at least not yet. Like maybe in 3 years, if Mims winds up being a bust, Becton can't stay healthy, then maybe you get a little more concerned. But I think it's so top heavy with how you want to see those guys perform. Like Becton looks like he's going to be a top 5 tackle, could be the best tackle in the league if he could stay healthy. Mims, you want to see more out of this year. Yeah, Zuniga doesn't look like a great pick. Morgan obviously cut, not a great pick. Cam Clark has not played, not a great pick. You got a starting punter in Man. You got a starting corner, at least right now in Bryce Hall. I think when you hit on picks later in the draft, and even with undrafted free agents, guys like Bryce Huff and some of those players, I think it makes the draft a little more, I don't know, a little bit easier to swallow. As much as like, having those not so great picks throughout. I mean, honestly, a 50% hit rate in a draft is pretty good. You're probably considered top half in the NFL if you can hit on half your draft picks. So, Joe, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on Joe Douglas's first draft class so far, and are you worried about it?
No, and some of the early results haven't been good. Like, okay, P. Ryan is probably the 4th running back, and Ashton Davis is injured. Cam Clark is injured. But like you said, even 50%, like that's a high number in terms of hitting on draft picks. To be completely honest, like everybody applauds the Patriots, and how they build their teams. Look at their roster and their draft picks over the last 10 years. Like they obviously don't hit a lot. Now the Patriots aren't the Ravens, in terms of drafting, but if you can even hit on 50%, and like last year, you're looking at Bryce Huff, who could develop into, a solid edge player for the Jets. This year he's probably make more of that 3rd down specialist. He's a little bit disappointing after Shaq Lawson got injured, and you want to see him produce a little bit more, but still he's a UDFA who could develop. Bryce Hall, we're all thinking could be a solid #2 starter. I don't think he has the athleticism to match #1s, but even a #2 in the 5th round is really good. Becton, last year he was near that top 10-ish level. And like you said, health, and if he develops some of his technique, he could be a guy who's sitting in that top 5 for years and years and years. He just has a super rare combination of size and athleticism. So if he just gets decent technique, like somebody brought up in my intro, even if he has decent technique, he will be an elite level player. So you have to be pumped about him. And then past that, you have to give guys some years to develop. And this is why you kind of have to watch those guys, because and I didn't necessarily love the Ashton Davis pick, but the first thing I did this review with Marcus Coleman, I do some reviews with him. He played in the NFL for 11 years. The thing we both said was we understand why we draft, or why they drafted Ashton Davis, but because of his athleticism, his rare athleticism in some aspects of his game, but he's also going to need time to develop. We said that it's undoubtable. Year 2, 3, then you'll start seeing a productive player. So year 1, he struggles and people are going crazy, but they didn't draft him expecting him to be a finished product. So you still have to wait on Davis, and Clark has been injured. So what if he turns into a decent backup guard? So if you're looking at, Clark being a decent backup guard, even Davis being like a #3 safety, maybe a #2 with once he develops. Becton, maybe Mims develops, which people are either here on him or here on him. And then you're looking at Huff, you're looking at Hall. So is it, some of the picks this morning, James Morgan, maybe P. Ryan, some of those other guys. Yeah. But, and Man too. We even mentioned Man, who could be a solid starting punter for us. So I'm not saying good or bad yet, but to jump the gun and say, oh, it's been absolutely terrible. You're again, that's why people say you give it 3 years, because if you might be a little bit pessimistic now, but if Mims is our number 2 or 3 in a couple of years, Davis is a starting safety, Clark is a solid backup guard, maybe even a starter, and then people are like, holy shit, it's actually a really good draft class. It just is what it is. So really just chill out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to think too. There's probably, as much as Joe Douglas is in control of the roster and he's in control of drafting players, Adam Gase and the regime we had last year, there was some type of input with that draft class and how they wanted to utilize certain players. Because I think if you have, this same coaching staff in place, I don't think P. Ryan gets taken. I don't think he has the speed to be the type of back that they used in San Francisco. So I think there's certain things that you look for with different regime changes. I like our first 4 draft picks this year. It feels like all 4 of those guys are going to be really good. The Elijah Vera Tucker pick just seems like a home run of a move, especially after moving on from the headache that was Jamal Adams and getting someone that's going to be here potentially for 10 years at what could hopefully be a Pro Bowl level for us. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not concerned about the draft just yet.
No, and that's year 1. Year 2, like, we're obviously all pretty pumped. Like, just the fact that the Jets have had so much emphasis on the defensive side the last couple of years and didn't surround, their younger quarterbacks with talent. Like, obviously with Sanchez, it did the first couple of years, but then it took a nosedive with him. Mm-hmm. Listen, I think Geno was ever going to work out? No, not necessarily, but they didn't give him the most help. They didn't give Hackenberg's a different story. I remember being at like open practices and like watching him like 10-yard passes that I would make 12 beers deep in the parking lot. And I'd be like, this is not good. Like, this guy is not going to be good. So that was just a bad pick. And then obviously with Darnold and stuff, like, they always invested into defense. So for him to come out this year and like really put that emphasis, like really surround him like they were supposed to do with Darnold, with 4 offensive picks and dump some capital into just the offensive side of the ball. You have to be super optimistic, and we all like the picks. Obviously, we all like Wilson. AVT is a guy who, based on what I watched, to put 4 hours of stuff, or probably 3 hours of stuff out on him. He's so clean that I cannot see him being below average in his first year, which people might pick. That's not a high compliment for a rookie in his first year. It really, really is. So I think AVT is going to be a plus level starter, no doubt about it, who could be a Pro Bowler. I really do think that. And then in terms of Elijah Moore, we all know. Like, do I have to say anything on Elijah Moore? Like, the guy was fantastic. Now, there's some things I want to see a little bit more from an Ole Miss, and it's not necessarily based on him. He worked into space quite a bit. I want to see him more against press coverage. Even in college level, he didn't really have to work against press, so he didn't have to see him use skip step, pop steps, shuffle releases, all this stuff that I want to see a receiver do, whether he be in the slot or outside. So I want to see that in the NFL level. But still, even with some of those questions and some more that I brought up before, I still think it's like there's a reason people are excited about him, and it is justified. And then Michael Carter, you're looking at a guy who I think could be a pretty solid running back. Now, is he like, oh my God, he should have been a 2nd round pick and the Jets completely stole this guy? I think the temporary expectations a little bit. Like, I think he's solid, but he's not a 1st round, 2nd round running back for a reason. But I still think he's very, very solid. And the rest of the draft I like too. So like, we'll see what happens. But I was kind of just focusing on the offense there a little bit. But like, that's why we should be excited about Joe Douglas, because he's really surrounding our rookie quarterback with what he needs to be surrounded with. Like, look at his team this year, or Zach Wilson's team this year versus Geno's team and Darnold's team. Like, it's not even in the same stratosphere. Like, this offensive line should be about average. If Sam Darnold had average in his first year, like, he wouldn't know what to do with himself. He had like the 32nd, 31st ranked offensive line his first 2 years in the NFL. So I like Joe Douglas, one, for obviously, a couple of reasons. He doesn't take any bullshit. He doesn't leak anything to the media. His trades have been absolutely fantastic for the most part. And he knows what he's doing in terms of building the trenches, building around the young quarterback. So I kind of went to 1,000 different directions there, but I don't even know what you asked me initially, but that's my answer.
It sounded good to me. Guys, I got Joe Blewett from Jets X Factor here with me. If you guys haven't subscribed to them, they're down below in the description. Make sure you follow Jets X Factor. Follow them on Twitter. They're a great follow. I also pinned a poll in the live chat. Are you subscribed to Jets X Factor? 62% of you are. There's 38% that are not. Seriously, go over to Jets X Factor and go subscribe to these guys. They're going to be on every Monday. We're going to be talking everything from the game prior, what we should be looking forward to for the following week, and everything in between. So, Joe, I guess that kind of moves me into the direction of this week 1 matchup against former New York Jets starting quarterback Sam Darnold. We get to see Robbie Anderson, what could have potentially been our head coach in Matt Rule. How are you feeling about week 1 and the Jets matchup with the Carolina Panthers?
I'm nervous, obviously, because it's been 2 years since I've been to a game, so it's like there's a lot of like built up like anticipation. One, going to the game, and then two, obviously the first game being against Sam Darnold. Like if the first game was against the Bucks and we lost, like, oh, all right, but like it being against Sam Darnold, like I know I wanted to see 1,000 tweets about how they should have kept him and all this stuff. So I'm just not looking forward to that in general. Obviously, even if they beat us, that's not the right answer. But people are that high and low, based on the week. 1 week they would want him back, and next week he's going to suck, and they're going to say, oh my God, yeah, we should have definitely traded him. But there's nobody has to be accountable for anything they say. It just is what it is. It's really easy to click a tweet and hit delete. I've noticed that a lot. But I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a good game. There's clearly some areas of the field that we're deficient in that they could take advantage of. Their receivers versus our corners is a concern. DJ Moore is a good receiver in the NFL. And obviously Robbie Anderson's pretty solid as well. And then they have not Amon St. Brown. They have I forget the receiver, the rookie they've grabbed who's been impressing, but they got to see that in the regular season anyway. But just the top two of Anderson and DJ Moore against Eccles, Pinnock, Carter, obviously Hall. It's a little bit concerning, but then at the same time they also have to have a quarterback who can take advantage of that. And Darnold's last 2 years with the Jets, he really didn't show he could do that. So that's a little bit of a concern. And then they have some talent on defense with Reddick, with Burns. I think their secondary is a little bit overrated. If you actually look at Jeremy Chinn's numbers,
J.C. Horn this year, right?
Yeah.
I think that was
again rookie. And if he's lining up against Corey Davis, I'm taking Corey Davis every day of the week. At least his year 1. And then you look at like Jeremy Chinn. Like I know a lot of people are hyped up on Jeremy Chinn. We actually dived a little bit deeper into him, and Nani did a good article on this. A lot of his like PFF numbers and why he's ranked so highly was actually because of a couple of fumble recoveries for a touchdown. And those aren't things that are super replicatable unless you're a guy like Marlon Humphrey who specifically strips guys. It's a little bit different. But I think they can take advantage of a young secondary. You're looking at Chinn there. You're looking at Justin Burris, I think, is their starting strong safety. So there's some matchups they could obviously take advantage of a little bit. So I think it's going to be a game where they try to control it on the ground, and take a couple deep shots in the secondary. But I think the Jets will be able to run. Their offensive line has been pretty good in the running game, and then just control the ball from there. Make Zach Wilson have some easy throws, and then on defense, take advantage of their offensive line, which I don't know if you looked at it recently, but is absolute garbage. And I know the Jets lost Shaq Lawson, but they still have JFM. They still have, Rankins. They still have Q. So I'm pretty confident in getting pressure and getting in Sam Darnold's face. So some things I want to see them do on defense, pressure, obviously 4-man rush. I want to see them peel off into coverage, which Darnold had a lot of trouble with in terms of seeing underneath defenders, get a little bit of depth underneath the top, the intermediate to deep reads, peeling off. And then I also want to see some robber coverage, just in terms of showing Darnold that a slant might be open. And then, boom, there's Marcus May dropping into that hook zone and picking the ball off. So I think there's some ways to take advantage of Darnold's limited mental ability. So I think it's a game they should win, but they could lose at the same time. Like, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout Jets, but I predicted 24-20 Jets. So
I'll take that all day. MN drops in with a super chat, actually 2 super chats, and I'm a bad host. He drops in first. He goes, Mr. Danza would like to see Eccles start. Would you? And then he comments again. He says, Mr. Danza is still waiting on your answer about Eccles. He does not appreciate you ignoring his donations. I'm really sorry. So, Joe, what do you think about Eccles starting at corner?
So I think that I know this where this stems from. I don't know if he's brought up Mr. Danza in your stream, but it was the whole thing about Mr. Danza, and I'm a little bit too young to necessarily know who his name was. His parents like a famous actor, and he listens to podcasts and all stuff. I don't know if he's just completely joking, but there was like a whole 100-message argument about Tony Danza, if he's overrated or not. So that might be where this is coming from. But I guess if he's waiting on the answer,
that's where it is.
Yeah, I think that's where it's coming from. Eccles, yeah, I think there was some not like leaks, but there's been some rumors about maybe them trotting out Michael Carter second, Guidry as the starting outside corner. I don't think he has a size.
He was going to play nickel, like that.
Well, yeah, but people said he's playing nickel, but they also said, oh, well, the Jets are thinking about playing him outside. But I don't know, like from one of the beat reporters. The dude's like 5'9". And yeah, you don't necessarily have to be the biggest guy, but there's like a baseline height and strength you have to have. And he's not necessarily that guy. So I can't see it. I could see them trying to get them on the field as much as they possibly can together. Like maybe Michael Carter, who has some versatility. He played some safety at Duke. Maybe you can play him in some safety roles, like things like that, to get him on the field. But I don't think getting them both on the field includes a 𝐗-𝐅𝐥𝐬 playing outside, unless it's like specifically to shadow a smaller corner or a receiver. But at the same time, this defense has been pretty famous for just leaving guys on their islands. Like, Hall being on the left side the entire game and not really following guys around. So I just don't see it. So if I had to guess, it is 𝐗-𝐟𝐿, even though he's kind of smaller too, 5'10", he's not the most bulky guy, but everything from out of camp and based on what we saw in the preseason, he looks like the guy who's probably the most suitable, ready to start on the outside, which is a little bit of a surprise to me, but I do think he starts as the outside corner week 1, again, unless it's to shadow a guy who might be a little bit smaller on the Panthers. So I don't really think they have, DJ Moore's a solid height. Rob Anderson's obviously pretty tall. And I know the guy who they drafted, who I'm blanking out on, is also pretty big. So I don't think it'll be them. I think it'll be 𝐗-𝐟𝐿 on the outside starting. So there's your answer, Mr. Danza.
So I know we've talked about this before in the past. And what were your thoughts on the Jets moving on from, hold on a second, Mark R., thank you so much for joining the channel. Newest member of the channel. Boys and girls, if you're a member of the channel, drop some JETS in the chat to welcome Mark and Chris to the channel. Sorry, Joe. I want to get your thoughts on the Jets moving on from Bless Austin. I know we had talked about it in the past. I know you were not a huge fan. When I heard the Jets wanted to roll with the young guys, I was a little surprised to hear that because I think Bless Austin is like 24 years old or 25 years old and doesn't seem like maybe they've seen enough from him and they think that is what his ceiling is. What were your thoughts on the Bless Austin cut?
I was not surprised by it. I think I've been the #1 Bless Austin detractor the last 2 years. His rookie year was overrated. You're looking at him playing guys like, Daniel Jones, whoever was starting for the Steelers at that time, Duck Hodges or whoever it was, the Redskins or the Redskins at the time, the Washington football team now, like their quarterbacks, like he wasn't really making any plays that were uber impressive to me. And even versus Steelers, versus Duck Hodges, whoever it was, he got benched. So people just kind of saw him starting and kind of overrated him. And then it kind of built upon that with like him making some hard hits on the broadcast angle and then missing another 2-3 tackles that people never really accounted for. And again, with Marcus Coleman, we watched some of the film and like and I'm not trying to be like a dick, but like we were laughing at some of the technique he had. Like he was absolutely dreadful. And like for people who don't believe me, whatever, if you have Twitter, go on Twitter, I'll self-promote 𝐗-𝅷31, type in Austin and thread. And I put up at least 50 plays of him and 40 of them are terrible. Like not even close coverage, like not even the level where, Bryce Hall, who's getting beat by like Keenan Allen and Devontae Parker, like all those catches, he was like super tight to guys. Like Bless Austin would be on 3rd down and 2 and get beat on a 2-yard hitch route. And he would be getting beat by 3-4 yards on a 2-yard hitch. Like, what are you doing? Like his technique was absolutely dreadful. He can't play safety. He can hit, but he can't tackle. There's a difference between being able to hit and have a hitting power and actually being able to tackle consistently. So the guy is bad and they want to give somebody else a chance. Like people were out there like, oh, he's an okay #2. Absolutely false. I'm surprised he's on the Seahawks and made a roster. I did not like that guy at all. And there's a reason they cut him. It wasn't because of his age. They want to try out the young guys. It's because he's not good. That just is what it is.
Now, do you think the Jets, how do we address cornerback? Is this something we look towards free agency? Do you think one of these guys winds up sticking that we have right now? Or do you think it's going to be one of those 1st or 2nd round picks that we invest next offseason?
Yeah, it depends, obviously. Like, I don't know who's available in free agency off the top of my head. And then, like, obviously a lot of people look into free agency and like, oh, I want this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. And then like 4 out of the 5 that they want are signed or franchise tag or traded or like whatever it may be. So I'm not really sure about free agency, but I can tell you that there's definitely going to be a premium investment in it. I would think at least a 1st or 2nd round pick or a contract that's at least $8 million+ because, with this year, again, I think that the end of the draft were all the players they took from who's the first corner? Pinnock all the way to 𝐗-𝅷, the best players on the board. No, they're probably reaching at the position. Let's be honest. So they threw a couple of darts. If one of those guys hits, I really think that one of 𝐗-𝅷 or Carter will be the starting slot receiver. next year. And then obviously Hall is one of the starting 1 or 2 corners. And then they're hoping that one of Pinnock or Eccles can be a starting corner. Let's be realistic. Probably not, on a good team. Like maybe even if they're a 4 or a 5 next year on the depth chart, like that's a good draft pick for a 5th or 6th round pick. So they threw a couple darts. They're hoping that one of them hits. But to be realistic, I think that more likely than not, it's a 1st or 2nd round draft pick or a premium free agent contract that they're going to spend some money on, because corner is obviously pretty important. I know that Salah's defenses in the past have devalued a little bit because they put a lot of emphasis on the pass rush. So maybe it's not, a Stingley. Like I know a lot of people are obsessed with that name right now, but again, Sean Wade was supposed to be a top 5 draft pick last year before the season started and dropped into like the 4th round. So let's just chill a little bit on Stingley, but that's a story for a different day. But there will be some type of large investment. Maybe they don't sound like a Jalen Ramsey to a $20 million contract or anything like that, but they have to get somebody who's a viable starter at that position. So
I don't remember if you were the one that told me it or if I said it in your stream or where it came up, but if you look at all the Jets cornerbacks and you calculate all their salaries, aside from Justin Hardy, aside from Hardy, since he's going to be used mainly on special teams, the Jets have less money in cornerbacks than Tremaine Johnson's dead cap hit for this year. It's like, it's so sad. Like, you realize how awful of a contract that was, that he's been off the team for like 2 years now, 3 years. And it's still it's just brutal. Absolutely awful. So hopefully we don't get those types of contracts moving forward. I mean, the Carl Lawson one's a little scary, and I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, but the burst that you get from some players and then have an Achilles injury, it's not always going to be 100% comeback. Now, I hear people will say, Kevin Durant came back from his Achilles injury. And
different explosion.
Different sport. Yeah, different type of thing. What are your maybe expectations for Lawson next year, since we didn't get to see him really this year?
Yeah, it sucks, and like people wonder, like maybe is there some way the Jets could have told that the Achilles tear or rupture was coming? I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but apparently it's something that builds up over time and then eventually snaps. Again, I could be completely wrong. But that's what I've heard. And with his injuries, like he tore both of his ACLs. He's had some other, I believe, hamstring injuries. And when you have an injury in one place, your body starts to compensate in another place. And maybe that kind of wore down his Achilles a little bit. And it was most likely, I don't know exactly what the play was, but he probably burst it off of the line and tore it right there. It's an explosive movement. And usually you tear it on that explosive movement or rupture it. So I'm not sure exactly if they could have told it or not, but with the injuries in the past, it's something that maybe they should have considered. But even with that, you look at his numbers and his first pressure rate, which first pressure rate's a lot different than second and third pressure rate. First pressure, again, you're there first, so it's different than a Dunlap or Geno Atkins running him into Lawson and him getting the pressure. It's a lot different. So first pressure is a really important stat to kind of know. And he had top 5. I think he was there with like both the Watts, one of the Bosa's, or Joey Bosa last year, and like Myles Garrett. So he was like top notch in that. But now in terms of his explosion, like that's one of his strongest traits, was because he was so damn explosive off of the line, where he doesn't necessarily have the best bend, but just because he's so far up the arc, he could beat guys cleanly. Like he didn't have to work past their hips, as I say. He only worked past the arms. So the guy's punch and his leverage wasn't completely under that hand. So he didn't have the best bend, but he made the edge so soft, as I call it, for himself. And then if guys would plan a little bit more inside, again, he would take the edge. And if they try to open up really quickly to match his burst, now you're on your heels, and his explosion and his power would just destroy you. Just get right into your chest and long arm, or just bull rush you with 2 hands. So taking that away from him, listen, like I'm not breaking any ground here. Taking explosion away from a pass rusher is pretty bad, So I think next year, just based on his work ethic and all that stuff, like again, I can't tell because I'm not his doctor, I'm not his Achilles, so I can't tell how well I'm feeling. But I would think you probably get like 85%, 80% of Lawson, which hurts. But is 85% of Lawson still the best Jets edge rusher since John Abraham? Yes. Now, is he a guy who I predict? Like, would you be crazy to say anyone in the chat's like, okay, he's going to have 13 sacks this year, you wouldn't be crazy, especially with the edge rush he had, or the pocket getting the quarterback having to fade away a little bit because of the interior pressure. So are my expectations that 10, 11 sacks? No, it's probably down to maybe 8 or 9, but I still think he's gonna be a really good player. And he relies on that burst and stuff like that, but his technique's also really clean too. So it's not like he just wins purely on athleticism. So I'm still excited about him.
Mitt Flair drops in with a super chat, says, thoughts on Ashton Davis? Is he a bust? Your thoughts? Have you done a lot of tape on him over the course of the last year? I haven't really watched anything Ashton Davis-wise from you.
I'm disappointed, Ryan.
I don't know, I'll be honest. Yeah, your breakdowns are like an hour and a half long. I'll sit down and I'll watch them. I watched your special teams breakdown of Hardy for like 45 minutes.
Dude, it's a fun review, right? It's a fun review.
It was great. I enjoyed it. I have a brand new enthusiasm for Hardy. I was excited for the signing anyway because we needed some special teams help, but way more enthusiastic now.
It's a part of the game.
100%.
So yeah, no, I'm in terms of Ashton Davis again. Like, was I enthused with him his first year? Like, did he get burned by Tyreek Hill? Like, who doesn't? Missed tackles. In college at Cal, he has a big problem. It's kind of what Nasruddin had too a little bit. He has a tendency to not necessarily leverage himself over route concepts and stare at the quarterback. So he's not necessarily in the right position when the ball is thrown, and he's not really reading the receivers. So he's more of okay, I'm going to thrive on athleticism at the college level because I could look at the when the quarterback throws the ball, I could break on that throw because it might not be the best ball, it might not have the most velocity, whatever. NFL level, different ball game. Quarterbacks at college will show you where they're looking, so that might bring him to that side of the field a little bit. Again, NFL, every quarterback pretty much is gonna look you off. So he needs to learn how to play in deep coverage a little bit in terms of in the box. He needs to tackle a little bit better. He's a little bit small for the box, but has a really good athleticism and kind of that want to, and some good explosion into guys and things like that. But nonetheless, he was really raw coming out, so I didn't expect a lot from him in year one. So then he comes out year one, again, looks raw, gets beat, has some hiccups, and then people are losing their minds. So he wasn't supposed to be that guy in year one to step in and be a stud. So is he a bust? No, you have to give him, more time to develop because that's what he needed since day one that he was drafted. I did not waver off that at all because you watch and you see a guy who needs development. So,
guys, I am here with Jets X Factor, Joe Blewett. We're going to have one of the Jets X Factor guys each week on Monday night, him, 𝐷𝐷𝐵 and Michael Nania. If you want to subscribe to them, down below in the description you'll find their YouTube page, Jets X Factor, as well as a link to their actual Jets X Factor website. Great content over there. I've been a member over there now for, 6 to 8 months or something like that, and I have loved everything you guys put out over there. And I also have their Twitters linked down below. So if you want to check those out, make sure you get some real-time thoughts from Joe, Robbie, and Michael over there. We are getting to the end of our time here with Joe. So Joe, I want to pass it off to you. Any thoughts for the people out here in the cockpit?
No, really appreciate it. Really appreciate this really soft, well-fitting shirt that I'm wearing right now. So I'd recommend you go to the store and maybe you buy it. Again, no personal bias towards whoever made this shirt. I'm not necessarily sure, but figure it out. And no, I'm excited for the start of us kind of doing this every other 3 weeks with me, but every other week with 𝐗𝐍 and Nania. I love the partnership. I'm excited to hang out with you week 2, or at least see you for a little bit. And in terms of the Jets X Factor stuff, again, I do some live streams. I'll talk with Ryan, but the main crux of me is the film and breaking down guys for 2-3 hours and teaching what a bucket step is and a square pull versus skip pull and different coverages and cover for, sky versus switch versus thumbs versus robber. Like that's what we're getting into because that's what football is. Like that's how you should know your team. So like you hear a lot of people talking about a bar, like, oh, this guy sucks. And you press him on why. And they're like, oh, well, dude, he just sucks. It's like, okay, you just, I see who you are. So that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to inform people. So yeah, it costs money, but again, I put out 36 reviews, 2 hours plus most of them. So it's taking hundreds and hundreds of hours. So that's why. But we'd appreciate subscriptions, or even if you want to subscribe to that, listen to the live streams and subscribe there. And then we kind of talk about our feelings on the film, but we don't necessarily break down the film on those channels. So follow me there, follow Robbie, follow Nania, follow the rest of our guys. But we'd really appreciate it because we just started 16 months ago. ish, and we're doing really, really well. And you are a part of it, Ryan, building us up, and me having me on here for appearances and stuff like that. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody in the chat who've came over and subscribed.
I love it, guys. One more time, make sure you check out Jets X Factor. Go subscribe, hit a like button on their most recent video. Show them some love over there. Joe, thank you so much for tuning in with us, and I'll talk to you. I'll probably see you week 2, I would think.
You better see me week 2. You're stopping by at least. You're doing a shotgun with me at the minimum. There's no but. There's no maybe with that.
Oh no, absolutely, dude. Dude, thank you so much.
Yeah,
take it easy,
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, boys and girls, I think I did that transition well enough. Fun having Joe on with us. Let me see, I'm going to end the Zoom window over here so I'm not going absolutely bonkers on the side. All right, so we're going to get into some phone calls. But before we get into the phone calls, hold on. See, this is me not being prepared. I got to get my my image up. Give me just a second. All right. Bam! Got to pay some bills, boys and girls. Want to get an advantage over your sportsbook? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their Best Bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports and gives you the reasoning behind why you should place the bet. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, and player prop bets. Don't want to use the model and prefer to do your own research? BetQL has all the necessary tools for your research needs. There is sharp data so you can see who the pros are backing, line movement so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time, team summaries highlighting previous success against the spread and the over-under, and team lineup, breaking news, and injury status updates. Plus, you can save all your picks in one place to track your success and winning streaks, as well as view your rank on their leaderboards. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download BetQL. You can also head to try.betql.co/JetsTalk to get started now. Enter discount code JetsTalk at payment at checkout for 25% off any of their subscription offerings. You can find all this information in the description of this video. Make sure to check out BetMGM offer, their BetMGM offer, in the description in order to receive a free year of BetQL. Also, check out their Sportsbook offers page if you live in one of the eligible states to claim free offers upon signing up at one of the many sportsbooks listed. Don't miss out on the chance to beat your sportsbook this football season. Wowzers. It's a long read. Long read. I love it, though. Dude, I've been checking out this BetQL stuff, and they are legit. I'll bet on WinView, I'll bet on FanDuel, I'll bet on DraftKings. I do all these different gambling sites over the course of the year, being here in Jersey that sports gambling is legal. But having BetQL to be able to take a look at the analytics of everything going into a bet, and they actually rate it on stars too, so it's like 1 through 5 stars on how good a bet is. It's a really interesting stuff all the way around there. All right, so I said we'd start phone calls. I don't know if I said this. We're going to start phone calls at 9 o'clock. Which it is already 9 o'clock. So let me see if I can pull up the Google Voice and see how this works. This may not work right away because I'm just realizing now I probably haven't used Google Voice in like a long time. Let's see if I don't even know if I'm logged into it. Voice. I don't think I am. Let's see. Give it a whirl. Here's the phone number button. Well, bam! Phone number's on the screen. We'll give this a whirl. We'll see if this actually works out. If it doesn't work out, chat, I'm going to need your help. Let me know if you can hear the audio coming from the calls, because there's a real good shot it may not be working right away. So you're going to have to bear with me just a little bit. But phone number's on the screen if you want to talk a little bit of Jets with me and just ask some questions in general. I'm hearing some audio. All right, let's see.
From
Vinny, here's a real good shot.
Vinny, brother, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, my God, it's been so long since you've actually done one of these. I can't remember the last time you've actually. I can't remember what the last thing I was doing the last time you actually did one of these.
Oh man, I don't know if I've done a call-in show since it had to be before the draft, because I don't even know if I was doing call-ins at that point. I think I was kind of, I don't know. It's been a while. I miss talking to you guys. We've had a lot of fun in the chat, and I usually have like Green Bean and Matt or Joe or one of these guys in.
I know this is off topic, but you go to Aruba and you don't go to the aloe vera factory. Seriously?
I was know. For those of you that don't know,
I was there for 20 minutes, and I still managed to do that.
I got married back at the end of May, and I went on my honeymoon. We were supposed to go to Bali, Singapore, all that stuff, Southeast Asia. And then, obviously COVID, so we wound up going to Aruba instead. And Aruba is the aloe capital of the world. And Vinny is upset with me that I did not go to the aloe vera factory. So I apologize, Vinny.
That's
I want to hear some of your thoughts. Oh, I got the timer going. Dude, I haven't seen the chicken fly across the screen in a while. Gitmo Bob says, "Is it chicken time?" Ooh, you better believe it. All right, Vinny, let's talk. Talk to me about the Jets. How you feeling?
I'm excited. I know I've mentioned this on a lot of other calls, but historically speaking, the Jets perform very well under first-year head coaches. Since 1997, they own a .571 win percentage under first-year head coaches, and that's including Adam Gase.
I was gonna say, we were doing pretty good until the Adam Gase experiment happened.
Yeah. He's also the only first-year head coach for the Jets to not beat the Patriots.
Ooh, I did not know that. That's an interesting stat to know.
Yeah, every first-year head coach. Parcells beat the Patriots in his first year. Al Groh beat the Patriots. Herman Edwards, Eric Mangini, Rex Ryan, Todd Bowles. All of them beat the Patriots. Adam Gase is the only exception.
I should be really hyped up for Week 2, Jets-Patriots home opener.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm going there. I can't wait to go there. It'll be my first game.
Dude, I'm so excited. Me, O'Leary, Green Bean, Joe's going to be there. There's going to be a whole bunch of people excited for this, and especially if we win this Week 1 game against the Panthers, I can't imagine how it's going to get.
The thing is, that stadium, you remember, people have been in a football stadium for over a year, so you're going to go in there. It's the home opener, especially if the Jets win. That might be probably the loudest you've probably heard it since maybe 2010.
That's a little hard to say because I feel like the 2015 year with Fitz. I mean, I think there's probably a lot more excitement because of the youth of this team. Like the 2015 year felt like it was like
a one-hit wonder.
Eggshell, and it was like, wow, this is like it's holding together really well right now. And then as soon as someone touches it, it's gonna crack. This one feels like we have the base for a launching off point for what could be a very successful stretch of years here if we hit on the quarterback and hit on some of our draft picks.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm confident. Yeah, no, I'm just looking forward, And I saw the news for the Panthers, like, lose another lineman. Just making it much more easier for Quinnen to eat.
Dude, I'm looking forward to seeing the Jets pass rush get after Sam. I can't tell you how badly I really want to see the Jets win this game because I know we're going to hear ESPN, we're going to hear those Debbie Downer fans. If the Jets lose, they're going to be, we should have kept Sam, we should have traded the number 2 pick.
I've run into a guy like that. I've run into a guy like that on every time there's a Zach Wilson upload by the Jets, there's this one guy who comes on there. I don't know if I should say his name or not, but like he comes on and he's like, he was first a Sam Darnold fanboy, then he jumped on the Justin Fields bandwagon like most Darnold fanboys did. And like he can't accept it, and then when you point out like that everything he says is lies, he's like, "You're harassing me."
It's never good, never good. I'm looking forward to Zach Wilson. I'll be honest. We were doing a live stream, me, Green Bean, and O'Leary, and I think it was O'Leary and I kind of had the BYU game on the side, and Green Bean was traveling around, and we're watching. We're like, "Wow, he threw another touchdown. Man, he's looking pretty good." And then we wind up doing the last one. We're like, okay, now we got to watch Justin Fields. And you watch Justin Fields against Trevor Lawrence, and it was just so lopsided the way he handled everything. And I got caught up in it. I think Fields is going to be a pretty good quarterback. Now, I don't know if he's going to – how much he'll play this year because I think the Bears are trying to protect him against that offensive line.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just excited because I think we're going to see something that hasn't happened to the Jets since 1965. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea.
A Jets quarterback winning Rookie of the Year.
Ooh, I like that. I put $10 down on it to win 90.
I was gonna put some money on it because you know what? The odds are like they're high because like the odds are good for it because you know what? It's still Lawrence is the favorite and a lot of people are over him. But you know, as the preseason has gone on, they've been more like saying, yeah, there's a better chance Wilson. They're starting to warm up to Zach Wilson. So I know guys who got it like later when it was at plus it was like 900 or something, and now it's dropped and now it's going down. So it's
yeah, for sure. I put I think I had $25 or maybe I had $35 in my DraftKings account. I went $10 on Zach Wilson. I did 25 on Elijah Moore to win 1,000. So I'm all in on my Jets, baby. One of them's winning.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just looking forward.
You're out of here! Oh God, I love that chicken. I love that timer. It's so good. Boys and girls, if you've not done so already, make sure you subscribe to our Jets X Factor buddies. Joe Blewett was on here earlier with us. Make sure you catch the recap of that when the stream ends, if you want to hang out with us. Who's on the line next?
Joe.
Joe, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Ryan, welcome back.
Dude, it feels so good to finally have a call-in show. I can't tell you how much I've missed this with everyone coming around, and I love seeing the chicken fly across the screen. It's one of my very few favorite things that I get to do on the little back end here.
Yeah. Now, Ryan, remember I've been following you for 2 years.
Sure.
Remember I compared Zach Wilson to Ken Stabler. Remember I was saying this guy looks like he's Hall of Fame kind of, potential. And what has the media been saying about him? Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes, and I said he's going to be better than Trevor Lawrence. And so far,
we've heard Tony Romo say top 3 to 5 quarterback in the league. There's a lot of people hopping on the Wilson bandwagon, and I'm like trying to pump the brakes. I don't want to get too excited and like be completely let down.
Well, you know what it is? I haven't seen a quarterback prospect since Rodgers. A kid throw with that kind of zip on the ball and arm angles and, the way he tosses his hips when he throws the ball. Those little flea flicker passes and things like that. But I just wanted to get your opinion on Zach Wilson. What did you think of him against the Green Bay game?
I loved it. I'll start with the Giant game because we didn't get to see a whole heck of a lot from him, but it was just enough for me to be like, okay, he didn't do anything wrong. And I'm happy with what I got. It seemed like he was making the right reads. It seemed like he made some nice throws. And you know what? Maybe next time we'll see a little bit more. And then the Green Bay game comes around, and I am so excited. I'm watching everything. And you want to see him play against starters. So don't expect to see the Green Bay production stretched out over the course of a full game when you have legitimate starting caliber players going against legitimate weak, regular season defenses, because it is going to look different. But I'm excited. I like what I'm getting out of the offensive line. I think the fact that they're going to commit to the running game and really open up the play action and allow Wilson to kind of roll out to his left or right, kind of shorten I don't want to say shorten the field, but kind of narrow the field so he's not trying to scan an entire, 50 yards from sideline to sideline. So being able to kind of narrow down his reads and know where, okay, the safety's dropping down. I know I can't go to this read. I got to get off to this read real quick. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. It seems like the processing power is there. It seems like he has something more that Sam didn't have. Sam seemed to like react to what he was seeing, where Wilson seems to know as something's happening where he needs to go next. Like it just feels like it's a faster processor.
Yeah, I agree. I think he reads the defensive patterns better than Sam Darnold. I mean, I think personally he has more talent than Sam Darnold. That's just my opinion. I don't know, if these diehard Sam Darnold fans believe, that Darnold probably is going to be the better quarterback, which I don't think so. They're not comparing Darnold to any great quarterback when he came out.
No, I mean, when I heard Sam come out, the most I kind of heard was like, okay, he has kind of a Big Ben it factor kind of a thing. Not necessarily the same size, or he had more of a Tony Romo off-script kind of thing. And that was what made Sam special. Without having the offensive line, it really, hampered him. And I think Carolina doesn't really have a good offensive line either. Now, he does have way better weapons down there, and I really like Joe Brady. I like Matt Rule, so I like the team they have there.
Yeah,
but
they're good coaches.
I don't know, after seeing Sam, even last year in Gase's offense, and I know Gase didn't do him any favors, but there were plenty of times that he had wide receivers running wide open that he just did not look at, and he made Adam Gase's offense look worse than it really should have last year.
You know what, Ryan? Like they say, a leopard don't change his spots. I still think he's going to be turnover prone. And me and you were big Sam Darnold fans.
Yeah, I love Sam. He was huge.
Yeah. And I think he could be good. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little worried about our secondary. They are young. I agree with Blewett. I think Bless Austin was a joke. I don't think he was a good cornerback. I think they're going to get torched. I really do. I think they're going to give up at least 28 points, and we're going to pull it out by like 2 points. We're probably going to miss a field goal, and that's why why you're only going to beat them by 2 points. So I'm predicting like 30 to 28 Jets. I think Wilson's going to have probably like 275, 325-yard game, his first game.
I do think that Zach Wilson's going to break our passing record for a season. It's only 4,000 yards when Namath set it back with like 14 games. So with 3 extra games, I do think that's actually going to happen. And I do agree with you. I think our defense is going to get smoked a lot this year, and we're going to lose games because of it. Joe, thank you so much for calling. Brother, you've been ejected from the cockpit. That damn chicken. I love it. Boys and girls, phone number's on the screen. Talk to me. I want to hear your thoughts on everything going on Jets. It's been a long time since we did the call-in show. Make sure you hit like on your way in. That way people who aren't watching the live show right now may want to tune in the future because they see a bunch of likes there. So, kind of nice. If we get up to, let's do this. If we get up to 200 likes, I'll give away a shirt. So 200 likes, we'll give away a shirt, and I'll have Nightbot pick winners for every 25 likes we do have. So if we get up to 200, we'll pick 8 qualifiers, and then we'll go from there.
Eli.
Eli, what's up, brother? How you doing? I haven't talked to you in a long time.
It's been a while. I think well, you haven't had a show in a while.
This is true.
I think the last time was before the draft when I was a big Justin Fields fanboy, and I kept on calling in talking about Justin Fields.
So how are you feeling now with Zach Wilson?
I have completely and utterly changed my mind. I think,
you have to. You're a Jet fan, dude.
Yeah. I mean, one, I am looking at it through Jet goggles, so I mean, you have to take that into account. But especially Chris Sims, I think he really changed my mind the most. Not only his track record, but just listening to him talk about it just kind of changed my mind. And kind of just watching the preseason, because Zach Wilson looks so good, and I feel like he's becoming underrated because of how much people love Fields. It's just school, Fields is always, his game's always on national television. Who watches BYU? And Ohio State has like the second most fans behind Alabama, so everyone loves Fields. And I think Zach Wilson's becoming underrated because if you really look at the preseason, I mean, I know all the Jets fans will say the same thing, but he looked damn good. Like he was going through his reads, making every throw. Fields, I think, had a very overrated preseason. He missed quite a few easy passes. He didn't really go through his reads well. All of his passes were kind of just wide open. I don't know. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, for me, it felt more like they were protecting Fields. And it sounded weird. I was looking at a breakdown of Fields' throws, and I said something along the lines of it looked like they wanted to have him play against the second-team units with the second-team offensive line because comparatively their first-string offensive line going against the other team's first-string defense probably would have him running around more than we already saw. And we watched Buffalo put a beat down on Fields. Like, they realize how bad that offensive line is, and I think they don't want to subject him to that type of beating because of all the quarterbacks that have come before him. Not necessarily in Chicago, but you look at Sam Darnold, you look at David Carr, like all these quarterbacks that have come before him. If they don't have an offensive line and they get whacked around a lot, it's not worth it. So I think I would like to see more from Justin Fields in terms of playing with starters and seeing how he could progress with that type of speed. But I've liked what I've seen so far. I think he is going to be a good quarterback. I do think that Zach Wilson had the best preseason. I know a lot of people are really high on Mac Jones, and this isn't me being down on Mac Jones because he's a Patriot player, but almost the same kind of thing. Like, he wasn't going against the other team's starting units. And even if teams didn't have all their starters in, Zach Wilson did. He went against the first team that the other team was putting out, not the potential third and fourth tier players that the Patriots played. So I think Wilson had the best of the preseasons. Lawrence, I think, is going to have a little bit of trouble with the talent level in Jacksonville, but I think ultimately he'll wind up being fine. Is there anything as far as the defense goes that you are either excited or concerned about for this season?
The entire defense.
The entire that you're excited or not excited about?
No, I'm nervous about it. I thought we had a good defensive line. I think Kalo Lawson is a massive blow. I was arguing with my dad about this. He thinks it's not as bad as I think. But we went from having a potential top 5 defensive line to a mid-tier defensive line so quickly. I think, listen, Shaq Lawson for a 6th-round pick, great. Is he anywhere close to Kalo Lawson? No. I think John Franklin Myers is, listen, he's a decent body in there, but he's not like, he should, on a Super Bowl contender, he's probably not a starting edge rusher. I think defensive tackle, okay, I don't have to say about that. It's like the best defensive tackle unit in the NFL because McCagnon just drafted like
just
2 a
loves
year.
His defensive tackles. I'm looking forward to Rankins. I'm looking forward to Q, John Franklin Myers. Like, we have some really nice depth pieces there. And then Shaq Lawson. Like, I do think this is still a top 10 probably defensive line, top 15. It just isn't going to be that top like 3 that we thought we might have potentially been getting with a Kalo Lawson and a Vinny Curry coming off the edge. I think losing that speed definitely hurt us, and I would think our first-round picks, one of them, will be used on an edge rusher next year.
Yeah, and you have to account Saleh. Like, I mean, he's a great defensive mind, especially on the defensive line. I think she was going to have a breakout year. The question is, how much does he get paid? I hear that you keep on saying $20 million a year. Personally, I disagree with that.
You're out of here! You have been ejected, Eli. Thank you so much for calling in, brother. I saw a comment in the chat as we were going through it from Zachary. He says, are you going to do an every play like you did in preseason? Zachary, I'm definitely going to do an every throw. The only reason I did the every play is because Zach Wilson didn't have that many snaps, so I figured to see all the starters in the preseason. But I will be doing every pass, or maybe pass attempt. I might show the sacks. Like
to accept, press 1.
Multivitamins! What's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
What's up, Brian? It's your favorite Jet psychopath. What's up?
I love it, dude. I'm so bummed I missed you at the green and white scrimmage. O'Leary was telling me, he's like, dude, I met Mutt Files. I was like, oh, I came late.
Well, week 2, you're going to give me hell anyway, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm trying to get one of my friends to come with me, so we're playing that right now.
Yeah, dude, I love it. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to the Gotham City tailgate, which I'll talk a little bit more tomorrow with Green Bean and O'Leary. But we're looking forward to week 2. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be fun. It's my first Jet-Patriot game, so that's the thing. I'm 24. I've never been to a Jets-Patriots game.
Dude, it gets rowdy, especially week 1. Like
home opener.
Dude, and it's the first home game in like a year and a half, so you're talking like the pent-up angst of like Jet fans wanting to get out and hang out and just cheer for their team anyway. Plus you get the new quarterback. Plus you get the new head coach, all the shiny weapons, the new offensive line, like division-hated rivalry. Like, it's just everything you want to see in a matchup week 2 for a home opener.
It's a different type of energy this year, and I honestly can't wait for it. My only curiosity, though, is I said this in the chat, though. Some people think I've lost my mind. What I said Zach's going to do in his first game. So I think he's going to put up as a statement. I said he's going to go.
What do you think he's going to do?
28 for 32, at least 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT.
Ooh, that's a lot.
I don't think that good.
I think the yardage is probably fine. I think our defense is going to give up enough yardage and enough points to the Panthers that we're going to have to throw more than we would want to. Like, ideally, if Wilson can come out of this game with like 2 touchdowns, 250 yards, I'd be pretty happy because that means you have a good running game going. You're kind of shortening that game. I don't want to see Wilson in all these like crazy gunslinger type movements. or moments in this game. I think I should say this. I want to see him throw the ball all over the yard. But I know developmentally it's better if we run the ball, set up play action, and allow him to pass. Now, based on what we saw in the preseason and the way he is able to make connections with players and make the right reads, unlike what we kind of got out of Sam Darnold in his time here in New York, I think we should be very excited for that Week 1 game. But I'll say my stat line for Zach Wilson Week 1, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and I'm okay with that. I think that is a nice first game for Zach Wilson.
I just want to see him slinging around because I know Week 2 he's not going to be doing that. Bill Belichick is going to have a lot of fun keeping him cool. So I want to see him just put a statement out there that I might look like I'm like 15 years old, but I'm out here slinging the ball around like Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, nothing would make me happier than watching him hang like 350 yards and like 3 touchdowns Week 1 and just being like, Week 2's gonna be bananas. I would be the happiest. Well, we'd all be happy. We'd all be going bananas.
Let me answer this, though. There's a little bit of a shift, though. You have 2 Alabama quarterbacks going at each other Week 1, Tua and Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. Who do you think is going to be better, at least that week or throughout that whole season?
You're saying just from Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, or are you talking like all of
Mac Jones and Tua?
Oh, Mac Jones and Tua. I gotcha.
Yeah.
It's tough to tell because last year's offense was not tailored to Tua. It was tailored to Ryan Fitzpatrick. So the reason they pulled him out of games is because Fitzpatrick knows that offense. Like having a rookie in there when you're trying to win a game because you're trying to go to the playoffs, I think that's where that kind of came in. Mac Jones, I think, I don't know. Any quarterback that's not mobile really kind of scares me. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I would love to see a statue sitting back there, but I'm having shades of like Tom Brady and like dinking and dunking their way down with the tight ends, the short routes. They have a good running game. The Patriots shouldn't be slept on, but I'm also not overly threatened by either Mac Jones or Tua. Like, there is a clear threat in Josh Allen. Tua and Mac, I think, could very well not be the answers for their respective teams. Now, obviously, Mac Jones is going to have 3 years. Tua's got at least this year, maybe another year, depending on what happens with Deshaun Watson. I still think you got to watch out for that in this offseason. I want Tua to play well enough that Watson is not traded to Miami. That's my sort of thought process with that.
Watson's probably going to end up in Carolina, but right now I got a couple seconds left before my time runs out. I got one more draft tomorrow.
One more question. Oh my God! Sorry, you better check from the cockpit. Get out of here! Oh, sorry about that. Steve, Sack Exchange says, "Hey, don't forget I will be there too at the Gotham City tailgate." Steve, I didn't realize you were in the chat. I apologize. Steve, our buddy Sack Exchange that does all the giveaways over on Twitter, hooked me up with a really nice Nick Mangold jersey. He will be with us as well at the Gotham City tailgate. Thank you. Actually, Steve was the one that set that whole thing up. So looking really good. And another buddy we got coming in.
Call from Jimmy Weapons Hot.
Friend Jimmy, what's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Dude, long time no talk. How you doing? How's your off season been?
The off season, I've been pretty impressed. The move went well.
Oh, damn! Robbie Meichner in the chat saying we got a draft in 3 minutes. You're right. Wow. Okay, sorry. I'm listening to you, but I'm also I gotta be ready for my draft.
So, good Ryan, what I wanted to talk about real quick is a lot of people are overlooking a lot of the matchups that favor the Jets this week against Carolina. I was looking at some of the PFF numbers, and Dante Jackson is their number 1 cornerback, and he graded out last year at a 70.6. Everybody else in the defensive secondary, with the exception of J.C. Horn, who Blewett was mentioning, had a 73 from PFF in his senior year of college, which is a little bit deceiving. But none of the other secondary, including their depth, graded over a 65 on PFF. So,
interesting.
Yeah, so the defensive secondary for Carolina is actually kind of a mismatch when you think about Elijah Moore being there, Corey Davis being there, Keelan Cole, Jameson Crowder might be there. But the other one is the defensive line also is a mismatch, and their PFF grades are in the low to mid 60s as well. So there's not going to be a whole lot of pressure coming against our offensive line, which is good. This is the perfect game to get this team all tightened up in the regular season.
Jimmy, I love that. I'm going to step up from my computer real quick because I got to get my phone, which is used as that second camera for the behind-the-scenes stuff, because I'm trying to load my draft room, and it's giving me the little pinwheel thing. So I am listening to you. I'm just grabbing my stuff.
I just think, like I was saying, I just think that people are seeing, particular players, like Taylor Moton. He's a right tackle. So our right side, our right edge rushers are going to be eating all day against Sam Darnold. The interior pressure is going to be good. The Carolina offensive line outside of Moton is really bad. So this isn't as much of a trap game as people think. And regardless of DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson being out there, the fact of the matter is they still need a quarterback that can get the ball there. And I don't think Sam Darnold's the guy to do that.
I am on the clock right now. I jumped into this draft right at the last second. All right, Christian McCaffrey goes first. I'm on the clock for number 2. Who we taking, boys and girls? Talk to me.
Derrick Henry.
I know
Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry.
You want Derrick Henry? Oh, God. Okay, I'll go Derrick Henry. I really like Dalvin Cook.
Bro, Derrick Henry. Okay, Barry
I guess
Sanders
because they got
and
Julio
Smith.
Now and friggin' I don't know. That team runs through him.
Yeah, just listen to this. Derrick Henry had 3 200-yard games last year alone. Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders had 3 200-yard games in their career. Just saying.
All right. You know what? We're going Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's going to be the pick. This is what's so bad about. I see. I got everyone. Some people are saying Cook. Some people are saying Henry. I have whenever I do these drafts and I'm on stream, I have another draft tomorrow as well. And it's not good because then I wind up my friends wind up watching this draft. Be a fan, take Carter, says my buddy D-Mac. He's in this one too. What pick do you have, D-Mac? What are you in here? Galladay and Express, that's got to be him, I would think. He's the 9th pick. Ugh. I don't know if I'm taking any Jet players. Sorry.
I'm going to get off the phone. I just had to talk about the matchups a little bit. I'll let you get back to your draft. I'm going to jump back into the chat.
Dude, I love it, dude. Thank you so much for calling in. I apologize for cutting you short. I completely forgot about this draft until my buddy jumped in the chat and said something. Thank God. Ugh, that was
not
awful. All right, dude. I'll talk to you later, brother. All right. So I was going to do phone call in questions. I'm going to take the phone number off the screen so you guys don't keep trying to call. And we're going to take the timer off the screen. And I'm going to see if I can get into this draft while... Let me see if I can get into the draft while I'm on stream. If I could do that, then we'll show it on the screen and you guys can see it. If not, then I'll have to do it on the phone and we'll just talk our way through it. But I tried to load my draft before and it didn't like me. So we shall see. I'll keep an eye on the chat. We'll talk back and forth. Steers Boots asking if it's PPR. It is. Actually, I have no idea. I think it's half point. I could be wrong. DMAC's going to tell me one way or the other. Oh, DMAC is get vaccinated. That's pretty funny. So who did you take? Clearly my fantasy team is not loading on the screen. I wanted to pull that up. So we're going to do it on the phone. So that's how it's going to be. Get vaccinated. So he took Aaron Jones. I love Aaron Jones. I was taking him with my, I think I had the 3rd pick in a dynasty league. And where Derrick Henry was held onto so that, he wasn't there. And I went Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and then I took Jones 3rd. I'm a big Jones fan. All right, they're winding back. Winding back. DMAX says half point PPR. That's important to know. I need to know these things. So I wish I could show you guys my thing. So, all right. So it went McCaffrey. I took Henry. Cook goes 3rd. Kamara, Elliott, Jones, Taylor, Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb, Eckler, Kelsey, Barkley, Diggs. Now we're coming back. Diggs, Najee Harris, Calvin Ridley. Tyreek Hill was just taken. And I'm, 6 picks away. Got 6 picks. I want to see. Let me know some of your fantasy team names in the chat. I like seeing all that good stuff. I enjoy that. My team name this year is Toss My Salah. I don't know. I think it's funny. He says Kelce before Hill. Yeah, Kelce went before Hill. Believe it or not. Let's see, D-Mac. What's D-Mac taking right now? Is he going to tell the chat before he makes his pick? Probably not. Zach smokes crack. His lame cactuses. How many teams? I think we got 12 teams. Is that right? 12 teams? Yeah, 12-team league. Yo, so Joe Blewett asked me to be in a fantasy league. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Why not? We need one more guy. I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, oh, how many teams? 12, normal. And he's just like, 18. 18-person league. I was like, Joe, no. I was like, I love football. I can't do an 18-team league. That's bananas. Absolutely banana land. If O'Leary was here, he would be saying it's banana land. Do you know how deep you have to get with an 18-person league? You might know, you have 4 starters on your team. Way too deep. I like looking at, sleeper picks and those sorts of things. But I cannot touch an 18-person league. Let's see some team names. We got Zach Smokes Crack. We've got Raging Dumpster Fire. All Gas, No Brakes. Come around and get my sorry. Toss Salad. What else we got in here? Manscaped Lawnmowers. I don't have the Manscaped sponsorship anymore. I had it for a little bit. Apparently no one bought any pube trimmers in the month of August. So I was like, sorry. Not doing it anymore. All right, 2 picks up. Oh, D-Mac takes Waller. You son of a... Waller's been my tight end. I've taken Waller a lot. I think I've taken him in 2 of my leagues so far. So 3 picks up. Top players listed on the board. You got Mixon, Allen, Brown, 𝐗𝐈𝐒, Justin Jefferson, Robinson, Montgomery, Carson, Kittle, McLaurin. And my boy CeeDee Lamb. It'll be interesting to see who these next 2 picks are. Sneakers to Boots. Fantasy team name is probably Sneakers to Boots. That sounds like that makes sense. And Anti-Daxers. I guess that's a good Giants name. Dixie Normus from Jason Rhodes. Zach Panther. Interesting. Die Hard, not Fine Hard. That's an interesting name. Jettas. Jet Fuel. Any quarterbacks gone? I don't think has any quarterbacks gone? No quarterbacks have gone yet. So it's pretty much been all running backs and wide receivers with the exception of 2 tight ends. Kelsey's off the board and Waller's off the board. I'm on the board. Jefferson and Mixon just went. So top players on the board: Allen, Brown, 𝐗𝐈𝐒, Robinson, Montgomery, Carson, Kittle, McLaurin. I know where I'm going with this. I'm going to let this pick roll down. I got a minute to make this pick. So I want to see what you guys are thinking in there with what you would like to see me do and what I think I'm going to do. I know where I want to go with this based on how this guy played last year. And I think he should play better this year. You guys are saying Brown, 𝐗𝐈𝐒, Kittle. I could go with all those. Put the board on the camera. I want to throw it up on the... I could throw... Let's see. Can you guys see that? Probably can't see that. Not well enough to Oh, that's not too bad. So that's what we're looking at right now. That's the board. That's the big board. I should keep an eye on the clock. I got 21 seconds. Becton egg and cheese. That's a good one. All right, I'm making my pick. I'm taking Montgomery. I want the running back. He had something like just a crazy amount of yards for a team that really was not very good last year. So I'm thinking if Fields eventually starts, I think that opens him up a little bit more. All right, so now, since I had the second pick, I'm 2 picks away from my next pick. So first guy took McCaffrey. We'll see who he winds up taking. I don't even know who this is. Who is that? Robbie, is that you? Are you in the chat? Are you pick one? Who's pick one? I can't even see. I can't see the full team name. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll go through. Keenan Allen was just taken. So one more pick and then I'm up.
Your team is now.
Oh, Kittle! Son of a bitch! Mother. Oh. Kittle goes just before my pick. Oh, I thought I could have got him coming back. All right, so I do not have a receiver right now on my board. I took Derrick Henry in the first round. I took David Montgomery in the second round. Let's take a look at the players who are on the big board right now. Let's see. This is, oh, come on. Give me some. Whoop, if I duck behind it, will it? There we go. That's what we're looking at right now, boys and girls. Who's Ryan taking? Who's Ryan taking? Is it PPR? It's half-point PPR. I got 30 seconds. Man, tight end would have been nice. I got to go receiver. You know what? I'm taking my boy. Love him. CeeDee Lamb. Making the pick. Sorry. I would have taken Allen Robinson had I not taken Montgomery. I took Montgomery. So I went with CeeDee Lamb. I do think CeeDee Lamb's going to have a monster year this year. And then I can kind of root against my buddy D-Mac because D-Mac is a Giants fan. And not that I like rooting against him, but I do kind of like jabbing him a little bit when it comes to the fantasy side of things. Now let's see. Who's D-Mac taking? He's up in 3 picks. He took Aaron Jones and Waller. So he's probably going receiver or running back here, I would think. Depends who's there. Got a little run of receivers going. Lamb, Brown, Robinson, all in a row. You guys are saying McLaurin. Sorry. What do you guys say? Take Croft. I'm not taking Croft. Not touching Croft. Dude doesn't stay healthy. Take Braxton Berrios. Man, you guys must be horrible if you're taking Braxton Berrios in the 3rd round. Jets by Jimmy says he's got Henry and Mixon in one of his leagues. Mixon was taken. Was he 1st round? Where did Mixon go? I think Mixon went just before me. Yeah, he went the pick before me. So Mixon would have been a good option. I might have gone Montgomery over Mixon, though. I don't know how I feel about that Bengals team. Whereas Montgomery's kind of, he showed out. He's been pretty good. CD Ham. Jets Forever says Montgomery was a horrible pick. You're a horrible pick. You. I see Newsack City. Nick Hunter says, I feel like Montgomery busts like every year. No, didn't he? Okay, now you boys got to look up some statistics on Montgomery. Because I was under the impression he was doing pretty friggin' good. Where did they have him ranked? Let's take a look. Maybe I made a bad pick. Maybe I made a bad pick. Who knows? It's possible. Montgomery from the Bears. Yes, 100%. Take Chris Herndon, says Dennis D. I took Chris Herndon in like a later round for one of my drafts. I don't know. I don't really trust him to play well. Yeah, Robbie, I have Henry, Montgomery, and Lamb right now. That's where I'm sitting. 16 picks before I'm up. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. I almost went with a third running back. I was considering pulling the trigger on Clyde's Edwards-Helaire. But then by the time I get to receivers, I would have been kind of shit out of luck. So who knows? We'll see who's there in 15 more picks. Jason Rhodes says Pittman Jr. in the 5th or 6th. Tom says, I'm in a 12-person league, non-PPR. You got Mahomes. I mean, that's good. It depends when you got Mahomes. You get Mahomes in the probably 2nd round, I would think. Maybe 3rd round. I don't think we have a quarterback that's gone yet. We've got 3 tight ends and then all running backs and receivers. Jets by Jimmy says, watch Christian McCaffrey be an injury bust again. I had the first pick in another draft that I had earlier today, and I took Dalvin Cook, number 1 overall. I won't touch McCaffrey, mainly because I've seen how a elite dynamic running back fares with Sam Darnold as quarterback. And coming off an injury scares the heck out of me. So Cook or Henry would be the pick, I think, for me, above Christian McCaffrey. Even though, look, McCaffrey could go friggin' off. He could have an amazing year. Green Bean goes, I thought this was a Jets channel. WTF is this fantasy horse shit. Sorry, Green Bean. I knew I had this draft at 9:30. I had it pulled up on my computer. And I forgot about it. I'm taking phone calls. I'm talking to Jimmy. And then luckily, the commish drops in. And he goes, yo, Ryan, draft in 3 minutes. I was like, wow. I could have gone horribly wrong. Zachary Berner says he's got Big Ben, Alvin Kamara, Chris Carson, Mike Evans, A.J. Brown, Mari Cooper, Jason Myers, Mark Andrews, Raheem Mostert, Jason Sanders, Colts defense. For his bench, he's got Ty Johnson, Eric Ebron, Deshaun Jackson, and Corey Davis. Winston as his backup, Nyheim Hines. Interesting. Ryan kidnapped you? I did not kidnap you. You could leave at any point. But you can help me with my fantasy draft. And you can make fun of me for what I'm taking. Green Bean, are you going to be live later? That's what Liam's asking. Maybe I'll jump in and hang out with Green Bean, depending on where my chat or where my draft is. Looks like Mahomes just went the end of the 3rd round. I'm 9 picks away now. Joe S. says, Green Bean, save us. Sorry. Oof. Is Davis gone already? I don't think Davis is gone yet. Amari Cooper just went. Mike Davis goes. Gaskin goes. Julio Jones goes. 6 picks away. Green Bean says, hot take, Matthew Stafford, league MVP 2021. I really like the Rams this year. I want to like Matthew Stafford more. Ryan, can we rely on you for an Amendola pick? I will draft Amendola. That'll be, I don't love it, but I'll do it. I'll do it for this one. Green Bean, if you want to jump in, you probably can. 10 o'clock mock. Green Bean, if you want to jump in, you could hop in this. I don't mind it. I have the Zoom window up. You've got the actually, I don't have the Zoom window up. Shoot me a message in the live chat if you're going to hop in, and then I'll pull up the Zoom chat. Because we were getting a little laggy early on in this whole system. I gotta go watch episode 3 of UFO on Showtime with the wife. Ooh, that sounds fun. I love me some UFO type stuff. I've never seen that, though. Is it good? Worth it? Jets by Jimmy says, my ESPN league is as follows. Rodgers, Henry, Mixon, Diggs, Metcalf, Juju, Kyle Pitts, Beasley, Sammy Watkins. That's a rock solid team. I'm assuming that's probably a 12-man league too, I would think, if you look at like where those running backs were probably taken. It was only 1 pick off of mine. What do I got? I got 4 picks away. Mike Evans goes. Cooper Kupp goes. Mark R goes. Rams have no draft picks. They've given away everything for trades the last few years between Jalen Ramsey, Brandon Cooks. Who did they just trade for? Was it this off season? Was it Humphrey? Is that right? Oh, Green Bean. Was that you want to jump in? Was that what you were asking? He says, oh, Zoom. All right. Green Bean's going to head into Zoom. All right. Let me open up the Zoom link. And then once I see him pop in here, I'll have to switch it on the other side. My intro is probably going to play again. But that's all right. Get some help from the Green Bean. Godwin goes. So it seems like we got a nice little run on receivers here. I'm 3 picks away. Jets by Jimmy goes, I got Freiermuth. Green Bean would love you. He was a big tight end guy. What's the board looking like? I'm 3 picks away. Top players, Jacobs, Henderson, Johnson, Moore, Sanders, Murray, Allen. It's going to be interesting to see what winds up happening here. Oh, there's Green Bean. All right, let's go into the side by side. Green Bean. Godwin go. Got a nice bean. Wait, hold on. I'm getting some feedback, brother.
Hold on. I got it. Hold on. I'm sorry.
All good.
Wait, where the fuck is it? All right, I got it. Wait, hold on. All right, sorry, man. It's my bad.
Johnson goes, no, it's cool. It's all good. I'm glad you hopped in. Kind of fun.
Yeah, man. What's happening? How you doing, bro?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm looking forward to our talk tomorrow. I might switch it up stream-wise because it seems like we've been having issues with the lag and the audio with all my stuff up. So I might throw a curveball and throw things a little differently for tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, nobody can deny you're the fanciest of all of us, and you got some good. The chicken alone is just
the chicken's amazing,
dude. That alone puts you on a different tier than every other Jets content. I love that chicken. But yeah, maybe
if I could find a way to do the chicken in my next software, then maybe I'll do it. Okay, I'm on the clock. I got Derrick Henry already, Montgomery, CeeDee Lamb, and then it's me, then 2 picks, and then me again because I had the second pick in the draft. Top players on the board: Jacobs, the running back from Las Vegas; Henderson, running back from LA. I'm not touching that because I actually like Sony Michel as a potential sneaky starter for them. So I have 2 running backs and a receiver right now. What do you think?
I don't know how it goes. What, you got to get another receiver now? Is that what you got to do?
Well, I'm thinking you can have a flex and whatnot. Let's see if I can show it. You're gonna have to look on the YouTube sphere to see this.
Let me see. Hold on, it's going to be delayed.
I got 38 seconds. That's what the board looks like right now, boys and girls.
Now, I'll show you how out of the loop I am. Is Christian McCaffrey gone yet?
Christian McCaffrey may have gone just a touch me. He actually went 1 pick ahead of me, technically.
Yeah.
I had the second pick.
Who'd you get? Who'd you get with your first pick? Derrick Henry?
My first pick was Henry. Yeah. I'm going to go with another running back here. I like Jacobs a lot. I think I like the idea of having 3 running backs. Now, it's going to be 2 picks, and then it bounces back to me.
Well, you got to get your wide receivers, right? So you have 1 receiver.
Yeah, I got to get another receiver. And we're at the point in the draft where it winds up being like, Sam Darnold's receivers. I don't know if I love that. Man, I don't know.
I don't know, man. Now look, you got to grab one of these guys that are going to be like, that you think are primed. You know what I mean? Somebody who's been on a team for 2 years and is like, you know what I mean? One of those cats. He's getting an expanded role.
Well, that's just it. So I have Henry's, rock solid. Montgomery, I think, is gonna be good. I love CeeDee Lamb this year. I have him on, I think, almost all my fantasy teams, which is horrible. God forbid he goes down with an injury. My fantasy season is going to be awful.
No, you won't take any Jets, right? Just because.
I don't love taking Jets. One, because I really want to root for the Jets, and like if they screw me over in fantasy and they screw me over in real life, it's just a wombo combo. It's like literally in my pick'em league, I pick against the Jets every week just so I have some happiness. Like we lose, okay, I win my fantasy thing. I win my pick'em. If we win, then I don't care about losing the pick'em. I'd rather win in real life.
Right, but you can't take guys that you're going to play either because, like you can't take, for example, Robbie Anderson because then you're rooting for him to have a good game. I couldn't do it. I could not handle fantasy. Thank God I'm a gambling addict and I can't even look at it. But like, you know what I mean? Like if I did it, I'd be all jacked up, man. I'd be in 8 leagues trying to balance out my love for the game. All kind. I don't know. It's like just thinking about it, I go right into that gambler pocket. It starts dude.
It's like it's clearly an addiction being able to possibly win money off everything. All right, so Jerry Jeudy goes, Kareem Hunt goes. Top players on the board. Well, let me show you my players right now. So those are my players. I've got I don't know if you can see it. Derrick Henry, Montgomery, Lamb, Jacobs. Okay. And then it's going to be a long ways. I got 21 picks before my next pick after this. So I got some time.
Where did tight ends come in?
There was a few taken already. Like Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller were all taken in the top 3 rounds.
Take Kyle Pitts, dude. I'm telling you.
I'm looking at Pitts. I'm like, keeping an eye on Kyle Pitts. I'll be honest. I have some other tight ends that I like.
Kyle Pitts.
I want to take a receiver, but am I a bad Jet fan for kind of wanting to take Josh Allen? Like the guy's like one of the I know.
No way is he going to replicate that fucking year, man. That was the luckiest year. The guy's a chokester. I'm telling you. I'm going to say it right now. You can record this. Anybody out there, show me later in the season. I'm telling you now, Josh Allen is having a dip year. There's no way he's going to do that again. No way in hell. That's my take, and I feel good about it.
I'm gonna go.
If you want to take him, I don't mean to do it like that.
I'm gonna go Claypool. I went with Claypool, so I went a little bit lower on the board just because it's gonna be 21 picks.
Claypool's good though, man. He's good.
I do like Claypool.
Yeah, me too. It's so funny when we were doing all the mocks and stuff, not even the mocks, but 2 years ago, we were kind of digging in and everything. And I had 2 people wrote to me like on the back end and said, dude, this guy Claypool. And I was like, he's kind of, they don't even know if he's going to be a tight end. And they told me 100 times, watch him. And then look what he did. And I wrote back to one of the guys. I'm like, dude, you had this.
Of course, Josh Allen goes right after me. I knew it. Oh, God. See, now the run on quarterback, now it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. See, this is me getting worked up now. But I'm on a Jets channel. I can't take Josh Allen.
That's right. You can't. That's okay. Be comfortable with your choice.
So
this is where the quarterbacks
There's other quarterbacks. Zach Wilson will go late. Maybe I'll have to just go all in. I'm just taking every Jet fan. Every Jet player from here on out. I can't be wrong. We're winning the Super Bowl. We're going 17-0. Until we lose a game, then we're going 16-1.
Did you see my reel today? I tagged you in it. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it yet. What, did you? Oh, okay. I haven't been on Instagram. I got to take a look at it. I was in a dead zone. We were at Becca's grandma's house, and it's like, I do not get service there like all day.
But it's like I'm poking fun at what you're saying right now. Like, we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, I did this. It's like I'm poking fun at Jets fans. I think it's pretty good, but you'll like it. Exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's just it. There's like, I love seeing the fans of like totally detached from reality. Like, at least sort of like recognize where your team's at roster building wise. Like, I'm always gonna be overly optimistic on Jets stuff.
Yeah.
But like those people that are saying like you're expecting the Jets to get 10 or 11 wins.
Yeah, they're going to be disappointed. Yeah,
What? Now,
like Jets
that
by
said,
Jimmy.
Did you see? Is he predicted? Jets by Jimmy. You predicted 10 wins?
12
wins. You're high. Get the hell out of here. Not happening.
Hey, man,
Jets by Jimmy.
He's sticking to it, so you got to give it to him. You know.
There you go. You stand behind it.
Yeah.
I think the Jets. I think our max amount of wins we were going to get was 9 prior to the Lawson injury. Now I see us somewhere in the 6 to 8 win range, which is crazy because I think ESPN had us winning, like going 6-11 and getting the 3rd pick. If we go 6-11 and Zach Wilson looks really good, I am all about getting the 3rd pick and getting Thibodeau, the edge rusher, or trading
Thibodeau's
down.
Thibodeau's hurt.
He's got the foot. He's in the walking cast, right?
Yeah.
So I don't
You know who I like? You know who I like, Ryan? And look, it's a long season, right? We don't know. But we've talked about this before. I think the Jets are going to go safety this year. It's the deepest safety class in a decade. And this guy, Kyle Hamilton, they're talking about a safety being a top 3 pick. He is so good.
Notre Dame?
Just watch this. Yeah. Watch the game that he had this week.
The pick?
It's like
I saw the pick. He went like across the entire field to get it.
Unbelievable, man. And he lays the wood. He's like the next guy to potentially be like in the same category as like a Palomalu, a Ronnie Lott, like those greats. Like he has that. And it's been a long time.
Will not touch a safety in the first. If they take a safety top 5, I'm gonna be so upset. I'd be so mad.
I know.
I want like I don't think there's any rhyme or reason, or not, I shouldn't say any rhyme or reason. I don't think there's any way I would endorse a safety in the first round after the whole Marcus May and Jamal Adams.
But
draft.
does it help you that we don't need a quarterback or even a wide receiver this time? Like when Mac did that, we had no quarterback.
Correct.
So
that's a totally different scenario. Now, if the Jets get the 3rd pick and they trade down and then take a safety, but we have another first round pick or something like that, maybe. I don't know. I don't think I can sign off on a safety in the first round.
I know.
I would say edge rusher.
I hear you.
Actually, you know what I want to see? So I want to see edge rusher early. Then with our Seattle pick, I want Lindenbaum, the center from Iowa. I would take him.
Okay. Interesting.
In the 20s.
Okay.
Then I would go. So originally I was saying edge rusher then cornerback, but after watching a little bit, now obviously these rankings could change by the time we get to the draft. But I like the idea of going center because worst case scenario, you kick McGovern to right guard for a season because I think we got him one more year. I think.
Yeah, I
think we have Van Roten another year too. I think we had him for a 3-year contract.
Yeah, I like that idea a whole bunch. I do think Joe Douglas is going to be a GM that takes an offensive lineman in the first 3 rounds every year. Mm-hmm. Like I think he's going to be. I mean, look, he's already done 2 firsts, so I think that would be very interesting. But I do like the idea if it's like just taking a good safety that high is one thing, but when you can see like this is the best safety in a decade, I don't know, man. I might. If it's like, think about having an Ed Reed or a Troy Polamalu or Ronnie Lott, somebody like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know.
Look, that's exciting. It's exciting. It's a luxury that the Jets. I don't know. We got $65 million in cap space. I would like to re-sign Quinnen Williams to a long-term deal so that we could stretch his cap hits later in the years to like be a little bit lower by spreading him out over his rookie contract. So that drops us down maybe $15 million this year or something along those lines. If he's getting like a $15 to $20 million deal, depending. I mean, if he shows out and he gets like 15 sacks, he's gonna get a monster deal.
Yeah, he is, and that's okay. Like there will be guys that we should pay you know, with all due respect, like I still maintain this. Marcus May, it's like I don't know. I just don't see. Look, if he comes out and has 5 picks or some great year, okay, you can talk about that. But dude, Marcus May, as good as he is, he's a very good, a way above average player. But he's got 6 picks his whole career. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's not one of those guys. He's just good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't want to break the bank for that. But if you could get a Palomalu, and I know I keep using that, and it's chances are this guy won't do that. But dude, what that guy did for the Pittsburgh Steelers, like he changed everything. He was the best player on the field at all times. You know,
Kyle Pitts just went, man.
Oh, Kyle Pitts is going to light it up, dude.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd make it to me.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is going to rely on him constant, especially losing Julio Jones, remembering Tony Gonzalez, what they had. It's going to be like, and Kyle Pitts is so uber talented, man. He's going to be the best. He's going to lead the Falcons in receptions and yardage, I think.
Over Ridley, you think? I hope not. I have Ridley in one of my teams.
Well, right.
I like
Ridley,
Pitts, but
maybe not rookie year, but I think he's going to have that kind of an impact. But yeah, I like him.
Oh, damn it! Fuck! Hawkinson goes. Oh, son of a bitch. All right. Oh, motherfucker.
Liam
2 picks ahead of me.
Oh wait, so what happened? What did they take? Vent
so I was looking tight end. Now I'm not going to go tight end, but this is what happens when I wind up doing a live draft. I get these guys are probably sitting in the chat watching. Dude, I have a draft tomorrow too, so I'll probably be, while we're doing our live show, I'm going to be having our drafts.
You're going to be
I need your help on that too. Yeah, dude. All my drafts are in like 2 days, and everyone planned them for when I'm going live. I think this was planned on purpose, so that way they know my picks.
Right. Just to distract you. Well, clearly I'm
That's
not
what
much
it
of a
is.
help. It seems like since I've been on here, quote, helping you, you've been very frustrated. So
that's all right. That's okay.
Now,
we're coming back to me. I've got 3 running backs. I've got 2 wide receivers. Tight end really would have been nice. A bunch of quarterbacks went.
Tell me how this goes. Don't you have like one league that's kind of the bigger one, and then there's a bunch of other ones you just have fun in? Is that how it goes?
Usually. So the one I did earlier. Oh, God. I guess I don't really need a third. Oh, God. I would have taken Ayuk. Ayuk just went just before me. Oh, man. Now I don't even know where I'm going on this.
I'm going to get tickets to a UV. I'm going to go to some college games this year, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're right down the street. Dude, they blew out William and Mary 43-0. UVA.
Dude, I don't know. I have no idea where to go here. I really need a quarterback or a tight end. I should have gone Josh Allen. That was a mistake.
Sorry.
I knew it too. Nah, it's all right.
You're gonna thank me.
But you know what? I'm gonna take Stafford. I'm taking Stafford. It's a little earlier than I wanted to, but damn it, that kind of sucks. So now we got 2 picks and then me again. God damn. Do we even have anything tight end? I think I'm going to be dropping so far. Man, there's no one at tight end. Damn it! Where do I go? Take Chris Herndon late. Just hope he doesn't shit the bed.
What do you think? What do you think Chris Herndon's going to do out there? You think he's going to have a resurgence?
I think it's so tough. I don't know how much of him playing poorly was the Adam Gase offense and how much of it was him just getting in his own head and dropping passes, and I don't know. I always thought his upside was really good after his rookie year. I would say it's going to be hard for him to do worse than he did the last 2 years with us. I don't know. He's their starting tight end, right?
I think so.
That's what it seems like. These guys are going, Croft. I'm not taking Croft.
Croft, yeah, there you go. Do you get points for blocking?
I should probably take another receiver. That's probably where I should be looking, because tight end's kind of bare bones. So there's Robbie Anderson, Mike Williams, Devonta Smith, Odell Beckham, Boyd, Sutton, Jamar. I'm not touching Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase can't catch a cold right now. Really not good.
Yeah, you gotta take like these rookies. You gotta like pick, you gotta pick somebody special that's gonna like light it up. You gotta look at a team that, needed their rookie more. Like than somebody who just drafted a rookie. Like, you gotta look who's gonna be depending on these guys that no one's looking at yet. You gotta have some fortune teller aspect in my brain. So you gotta be the one to pick somebody that nobody else has. That's what I think.
Sure.
I'd be ruining it because I would be thinking like that the whole time, and my whole team would suck. I pick all rookies. What's wrong with him?
Oh no. Oh, phew, thank God. Wow. I just got back. I accidentally backed out of the draft, and what happened? Turn the camera off and turn it back on. Let's try that again. Let's see. Can you hear me, Green Bean?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I gotta play with my camera a little bit. Oh, I'm on the clock. I got a minute left. This is like the worst time to have this. All right.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking at the YouTube page. You're all frozen and shit. They're calling
I'm frozen. I'm looking at you on my other thing. That's all right.
Yeah. That's so funny. Freeze Ryan. Yeah. Freeze talk 24/7.
Freeze Ryan.
That's funny.
Do I go receiver or do I go starting tight end? I guess I could go starting tight end. God.
So what do you think, Ryan? I know you're all caught up in this thing, but honest to God, Jet fandom aside, you think we're beating the Carolina Panthers?
It's going to be tough. I think if we had Lawson, I'd feel more confident. I think we do win. I think it's just going to be a lot closer than I was hoping it would be.
I know, it's such a big loss. I'm really hoping, I think Shaq Lawson, while he won't be what we expected out of Carl Lawson, I think he's going to be better than people are thinking for us. I think he's going to have an impact.
I just took Devonta Smith.
You did?
See how that goes.
No, yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. Devonta Smith is good. You think, am I frozen? Oh, no, all right.
No, you're good. I turned off my camera so that way I could try to reset something. I've never had that message pop up before.
What did it say?
We'll see if I don't know. It was like oh, there we go. I'm live again. No, it said like unhook battery or something like that. I have like a wire hooked into the battery compartment, so that way it's like always powered on. Because otherwise my battery would last like an hour and a half.
Gotcha.
And then go.
Yeah. Yeah, and get what Bob says. Ryan's not frozen. He's stoic. Only green beans.
Oh, see? Good man. I could be stoic. Freeze bean. Right. Did you see? I don't know if you were. I think I was. I had to be streaming with you. I only stream with you and Matt anyway, for the most part. Did you see if you use the special emojis, lame cactus? I know. Who was it that used it the other day? You could spell titties with using the freeze bean as the I.
Oh, no way. Oh, I love it.
So someone figured it out. I just saw titties coming up on the chat. I was like, oh, my God, this is amazing.
That's funny. See, man, you got to give it to these guys. They're so, the creativity is fantastic.
They really do. I love the chat is fantastic. I'm going to have to come up with some other interesting looking emojis that look like letters so we can evolve our alphabet. There it is.
I'm gonna screen. Hold on, I want
this. It makes me so happy to see that. And then I start seeing them in the comment section of my channel, and it's funny because people who go to the channel and only watch the videos that are not live, they don't get the interaction that we have on here, and they don't really see the emojis because like sometimes I'll comment with an emoji.
What if they're watching it? If they're watching it afterwards, they can't see it. You mean? Is that what you said?
They could watch it if they're looking at the live chat. They'll see it, but I don't know how many people rewatch a live stream and watch the live chat. I feel like if you're watching a live stream over, I feel like you'd be more likely to just listen to it than maybe watch it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'm thinking about it. I have watched some live streams, like I missed one. I wanted to chat. I think I've caught myself reading the chat.
Yeah. It's fun to see like what other people are thinking about as you're talking, or as the person on stream is talking, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better live, but that's so funny. Tits. Look at that.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's
that
like
is beautiful, guys. I'm telling you, I couldn't like it more.
That's see, if you haven't become a member yet, you should become a member just so you can show your titties on the on the live stream. Every time we see tits, whoop! Oh, he's got the F-bomb in there. Lame Cactus drops an F-bomb as the ooh, and that kind of looks like an eye. At least I have the dark. I have the dark YouTube.
Yeah, you have another one. That's good too.
With the little white like tail thingy. It looks like. Interesting. Lame Cactus getting creative with the emojis. See, it's a shame I couldn't make like I don't want to show my nipples on screen. I was gonna say like, oh, every time someone types titties, we're gonna go woo. But that's how I get screen captured, and people at work laugh at my nipples.
That's funny. So
that's how that'll work.
Dylan Alex in the chat disagrees with me, saying that the reason Marcus May only has 6 picks is because they never throw his way. I'm going to tell you right now that is simply not accurate. And I'm not trying to say that Marcus May is a bad player or that I dislike. There's nothing like that. When you just look at like, is he the guy to break the bank for? Marcus May gets burned. I don't want to say often, but it happens more than you'd like to think. He's out of position. He's a good safety. You know what I mean? That's it. He's a good safety. But he's not, no one fears Marcus May. Nobody's throwing away from Marcus May. That's not what he instills. He's a good football player. But he's not somebody that you want to pay $15 million, in my opinion. Unless, look, if he comes out this year and kind of blows it up, okay, maybe. Maybe you rethink that. But, Dylan, I'm not arguing with you. I disagree with that statement.
I like Marcus May a lot. I think from a team leadership perspective, from like just purely our best defensive player, unless I shouldn't say our best defensive player because I think Quinnen's our best, and then Mosley, if he returns to form, would be 1-2 with Quinnen. But I think for me, Marcus May just doesn't if he wanted say $12 million a year or like $11 million a year, something along those lines, I'd be okay with it. Maybe we have a good year and he's more receptive to coming back here on a reasonable deal. But I think with the Jets offering him, I think they said they offered him like, was it 10% or 20% less than the franchise tag?
Less. So we're looking at what, $8
million?
8 and change. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, I think Joe Douglas has a number, and I think May isn't gonna hit that number.
Yeah, I think so too. What I'd like to see, if Marcus May,
I see real quick. I see Brian Lemos in the chat says, "How do I get these stickers?" Brian, if you go to like below the video, there's a blue join button. The blue join button. If you click on that, any membership tier will get you that. If basically, I think I have $2, $5, and $10 tiers. So if you want to join it and you want to get some titties, you could join the membership tier. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. If not, you could just giggle at all the boobies that pop up in the chat.
That's right.
Link Cactus goes, "I love titties." Oh god,
that is good.
I'm gonna get demonetized because I'm just saying this too much. This is gonna wind up happening.
Hey, you can't control your chat.
Nah, I can't do that.
Can we?
Sorry.
Oh, are we responsible?
I don't see what's gonna happen is Nightbot's gonna come in here and ban a bunch of people. And be like, wait a second, what are they doing over there? You're spamming.
Because the using emojis thing too, right? Didn't that? Yeah, I had that.
We had the bananas. That's what it was. There were so many bananas that Nightbot was like, no, boom, it's a banana land.
No bananas.
Sorry. Oh well.
Yeah.
All right. That was my next pick. I got a few more. 7 picks and then I'm up again. So I have my quarterback. I got 3 running backs. I got 3 wide receivers. I'm not like overly confident with my team. I would have felt a lot better if I went Josh Allen. I wish I could have got Hawkinson. Hawkinson went before me. I guess there's really nowhere else I would have gone tight end. Kittle went before me when I took Lamb early on, but then I'd be missing out on receivers. I'm okay with where I'm at right now. Tight end's going to be an interesting dilemma for me, I think. What do we got going on in the chat here? 𝐗-𝐅𝐿𝐢 says, Gitmo, in this new era of NFL football, will there ever be another Revis, that dominant of a quarterback, true shutdown? He says he doubts it. What Revis did was nothing short of incredible. It was absolutely amazing what he was able to accomplish that year, where he held like every receiver under, I think it was like 50 yards or something crazy like that.
30 yards, 35 yards.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see that type of performance. I think we'll see lockdown corners, but I just think the way the game has changed favors receivers in such a strong capacity.
Yeah, dude.
That the defense just is never gonna be that. Like that's why for me, I'd rather an edge rusher than a cornerback, because the quarterback still has to make his decision fast enough. If you can speed up that decision-making process, he's more likely to make mistakes, as opposed to like any quarterback. I don't care if you're the 32nd ranked quarterback in the league. If you got 5 seconds to stand behind that offensive line, you're going to find an open receiver. It doesn't matter how good your corners are.
No, you're 100%
pressure's key.
You're 100% right. A pass rusher affects the game. Even when they're not getting sacks, they affect the game in ways that a cornerback simply can't, because they affect the quarterback, and the quarterback is in charge of the ball. So like, even if it just makes him throw errant passes, you know what I mean? Incompletes, whatever it is. But you're so right. I would choose a pass rusher over a cornerback, needing both every day of the week.
Now, do you see edge rusher as being our top draft pick, or are you like thinking safety? Is that your thing?
No. I got a pass rusher as probably our number one need. Now, when Carl Lawson and we had some young guys, I was like, okay, well, let's wait and see how this goes this year. But I think that pass rusher and cornerback are probably our two biggest needs. I'm just saying, like, look at all the cornerbacks this year, like good ones that fell to the second round. So like, let's say, like, if you know that you're going to be able to get one of those top 10 cornerbacks, guys that you really like, and you're going to need a safety anyway, and you're up there, like maybe you can reorganize your priorities, because that guy's so much better than the rest of the people. He's clearly far and away the best safety in the class. So anyway, that's all I was saying.
Oh man, Higbee just went. Oh man, I am not having good luck with tight ends tonight.
Who just went?
Damn, Higbee. So he's the LA tight end. I was gonna link up with Stafford. Man, that sucks. So 2 picks away. God,
Your team is now on the clock.
Damn it! Now I'm on the clock and I don't know where I'm going. Oh God. I guess I just got to take one. Gronk is still there. How do we feel about Gronk this year? There's like 3 tight ends down in friggin' Tampa Bay. 𝐗-𝐅𝐿, I guess. He's projected a lot of points. I guess that's where I'll go. Fuck, I really don't like rooting for Miami players, but I got to take a tight end. God, Higbee would have been good. Corey Davis went. Who the hell? Someone's watching my fucking stream. That's what it is. They're like, oh, I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah, dude. Maybe they are. Maybe somebody is. That'd be funny.
Well, I've had it happen before where I've had our group chat all start lighting up, and it's like, oh no, don't take that player, Ryan. I'm like, oh, or I'm talking like, oh, I'm going running back with this next pick, and then I see like, Charlie pop up in the chat, and he's just like, haha, no, you're not. Got him before you. I was like, you mother, you're fired. It's like our work one that we got going on. This is actually another work one. I got 2. I got one for one of the other golf courses that they asked me to join into, and then one for my home golf course for that. So, interesting. So, Michael Carter just went.
Did he?
After me.
Before did
It makes me feel good that I'm not taking the Jet player and that other people are taking the Jet players.
Yeah. How about Elijah Moore? Has anybody taken him? Is he still under the radar?
I I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really paid that close of attention. He's probably still available.
All right. Hey, I got a boogie. I got to do this UFO show.
You're hopping off?
Yeah. If you guys haven't watched UFO on Showtime, it's fantastic. It's what you've always, anytime you've looked at a UFO documentary and like what you wanted to see, it never happens. This one is actually what you were hoping every UFO documentary is. It's fantastic.
Have you ever seen
so much
the Bob Lazar documentary?
What? Yeah, totally. I know all about my Bob Lazar, bro. He's my boy.
But did you watch the one like relatively recently, like within the last
brand new one? No. It's like brand new. Yeah, I saw it.
It's within the last 4 years or so, probably. I'd have to look. I don't know when it is. It's really good. I was like, oh man, this dude totally worked on an alien spacecraft. This guy's not BSing. He doesn't seem like he's BSing.
No, well, the thing is, when he came out years ago, it ruined his career. So you got to think, why would these guys do that? He's been somewhat of a recluse since. Like you know, he's been destroyed in many respects. He's afraid for his life, all kinds of stuff. So like, why would he do that? You know, when he was on Rogan and he doesn't even do those interviews up until very recently. He stopped talking to anybody because it was ruining his life.
Yeah, I saw the one where he was on Rogan and they were talking about how he knew he said in like I think it was the 80s where he's like, oh, they biometrically measure the veins or the bones in your hand. And people were like, oh, you're crazy. There's no technology that does that. And then like 20 years later, they finds out like, oh, that's the machine that we used. It was like,
absolutely. How about
like, this guy's not fooling?
He was telling us about this mysterious element, like something to do with gravity.
Yeah, it was.
And
it was.
That element doesn't exist. Element 36.
Is it element 151? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
I think it's 151. He was saying how it's like it's a not isotope. What's the word? It's like a different variation, like more neutrons or something like that, and it's not sustainable, I think, on our planet, but it is possible that variation of that atom exists, and it like manipulates gravity in such a way. I think element 115 is what 𝐻𝐿 says.
Yeah, okay, but look, later on they found out that it is real. So a lot of the things that he said are now coming out that he was talking about this stuff, and it just shows how far ahead they really are. The scary part about it, man, is that this stuff isn't even government anymore. The government doesn't even know about this stuff anymore. It has moved over into private sector, and there are companies now that control all this stuff.
I would bet SpaceX and like all those different rocket companies, they're probably playing with other types of like Boeing. Boeing probably makes some crazy planes that we just don't know about.
Yeah,
that's
but it's
fascinating. My brother's really big into the UFO stuff.
Yeah, but let me go. My wife has been in there waiting. So good stuff, man. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Go Jets. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow, dude. Yeah.
All right, chat. Have a good night, everybody. Good little bonus hang here. I'm always happy to hang with you guys.
Yeah, love it.
All right.
That was Green Bean, boys and girls. Always nice to hang out with the Green Bean. All right, where we got... let me see where I'm at in terms of my draft. I took Elijah Moore, by the way. I didn't say it out loud, but I took Elijah Moore. So now receiver-wise, I don't hate my team. It gives me some options. I don't love my team, but I don't hate it. There's players that I feel confident about that have, definitely screwed me up in the past. Like I took 2 years ago, I took Odell. So in my work league, I've been in it for 3 years. I won the first year, I lost the second year, I won last year. So I'm 2 for 3 so far. 𝐗-𝐅𝐿𝐴𝐺𝐻 says, how big is the league you are drafting in currently? It's a 12-team league, half-point PPR, and roster-wise, it's quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, tight end, a flex, and then kicker defense. So right now, my starting lineup goes Stafford, Henry, Montgomery, Lamb, Claypool, 𝐗-𝐅𝐥𝐢𝐻, Josh Jacobs, and then on my bench I got Devontae Smith and Elijah Moore. I usually like having a really good tight end. I'm not upset with 𝐗-𝐅𝐥𝐢𝐻. I just wish it wasn't a Dolphin player. Was really hoping for Hawkinson or Higbee, both of which were taken just before my picks. I shouldn't say Hawkinson was. Hawkinson was taken at the end, I think. Where was he taken? Oh, he's taking 2 picks ahead of me. That's what happened. Wow, first defense comes off the board. What round are we in? 9th round? Buccaneers comes off the board. Liam goes, did you ever do an auction draft? I've never done an auction draft. I know what it... Actually, I shouldn't say I've never done one. I have done one, but it might be 10 years ago now. I might have been in high school. I don't like the auction drafts because I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know how to value players that way either. Dynasty leagues are fun, or keeper leagues. Both those are really fun. It depends how you draft. I went into a Dynasty league, and my team was horrible. I did not have a great first draft, but I had Andrew Luck. I had Gronkowski. I had, like, some players. I had Zeke. I was like, all right, my team's all right. Then Luck retires. Then Gronk retires. Then I had to, like, move Zeke to try and get draft picks and, like, some high upside players. So I trade Zeke. I get, like, I think it was a first or maybe 2 firsts, Antonio Brown and someone else. And then Antonio Brown gets suspended from the league. I'm just like, ugh. And this is like a $250 league that I was in. I'm like, oh, man. I was like, this isn't good. It's going to take me years to build this team back up. So I'm just going to be throwing away $250 every single season until I can build a team again. I wound up selling my team to someone else, and they gutted it. They traded everything for first-round picks, and it's actually not that bad. The guy had a pretty good draft, which sucks because I really like that draft a lot. Gitmo Bob says, Ryan, more neutrons in the nucleus of an atom makes the original element an isotope. I was going to say isotope, and I thought I was going the wrong way with that. It's not unusual and nothing sinister unless you are claiming an unnaturally high isotope. No, I know that. I'm aware. I know you can have more neutrons. It doesn't change the charge or anything like that. Nothing goes crazy. I guess the atomic mass would be more. Is that right? I'm a little out of my science realm, as I've been in God, I haven't taken a science class in a long time. I watch some science channels on YouTube. That sort of counts. Jimmy goes, my ESPN league runs quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex. Yeah, normally, I think ESPN is, well, not 2 flex, but I think it's normally, quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, tight end flex. And the flex is usually a running back, receiver, and tight end, right? Like, it could be all 3. Then what you got to look for, if you can get it, and I had it happen last year maybe, I picked up Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill was listed as a wide receiver for the week that he came in to play quarterback. So I technically had 2 quarterbacks playing for a week. It worked out really nicely. Now, I was going to win anyway. That it wasn't like a total shocking thing, but I'm pretty clever with some of these things. Usually I try to take a player later that has that type of upside. Like my Dynasty League or Keeper League. So I kept Lamar Jackson. This is the last year I'm allowed to keep him. And then I forgot about it. I goofed on it. I should have done it. I was going to take Watson in like the last round to do that. And then keep him for next year when he ultimately plays. Or who knows, maybe he's injured or not injured. Maybe he sits out this year and he gets his suspension next year and then he doesn't even play and it's not even worth it. But those late round picks, I took Des Bryant the one year when he was out of the league and then he wound up signing with the Saints and I was like, oh man, playoff push, let's go. And then he tears his Achilles. I held on to Gronk thinking he might come back from retirement. That worked out pretty well. What are you guys saying in there? Gitmo Bob says, yes, the atomic mass goes up the less stable the atom. And the less stable the atom. Yes. Jets by Jimmy says, 𝐗-𝐼𝐒 goes top 4 in every league. Where did 𝐗-𝐼𝐒 go in this league? 𝐗-𝐼𝐒 was 4th. So what did it go? It went... Ooh, I'm 2 picks away. Sorry. It went McCaffrey, Henry, Cook, 𝐗-𝐼𝐒. I like Dalvin Cook a lot, but it's hard not to take Derrick Henry. Honestly, I skipped 𝐗-𝐼𝐒. I would rather take Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones is a better pick than 𝐗-𝐼𝐒. Elliott, I don't know what to make of Zeke. Zeke scares me. Same with Barkley. The two of them do. Obviously, if you're a little bit later in your draft, either one of those would be an easy pickup. All right, I'm 1 pick away from being on the 1 pick away from being on the clock. What are people doing right now? Buccaneers wow, some defenses went. I wasn't really expecting that. Bucks, Packers, Chiefs, and Rams defenses all went. Got a Tannehill, Cooks. Should I go with the defense? Let's go with the defense. What we got going on defense-wise? Ooh. So this is interesting. I really, really like the Washington football team's defense. I think Chase Young's a monster, and I think they're going to be really good. There's still Steelers. So Steelers, Washington football team, Ravens, 49ers. Those are the 4 defenses that are right there. I feel like a team that can score... The 49ers is a hard one to go against. You guys are saying Steelers. Tampa Bay's already gone, Jimmy. I feel like I shouldn't go Washington football team because of the quarterback situation, and if they have to play from behind, then they're not pass rushing. That's never good. You guys are saying Ravens, Steelers. Steelers is... It's hard not to go Steelers, right? Ravens been top 5 since forever. Oh, man. Average draft position. I guess I could go Steelers. Yards per game, points per game. God, the Ravens are always so good, though. We're going Steelers. Taking them. Pulling the trigger on the Steelers. Steelers have a better special teams than Washington football team, says Jets by Jimmy. I went Washington football team in one of my other leagues, so I guess I shouldn't double down too hard on them because then I wind up like screwing myself if they wind up doing bad. Let's see. How many draft picks? 15 rounds. We just finished the 10th round. So I should probably grab another running back. That's probably something I should be looking at. Ooh, I know one I want. Let's see if he's in there still. Oh, he is. He is. I'm going to take him, even though it's a little early for it. But I'm going to not say it because I'm going to take him. We'll see if I wind up getting on the board. Kirk Cousins just goes. Show us your team. Okay. So I'm on the clock. My team, let's see if we can see it. So I've got Stafford. I've got I got Henry, Montgomery, Lamb, Claypool, Gesicki, Jacobs, Steelers defense, Devontae Smith, Elijah Moore. So I'm thinking I should go running back here to kind of even out what I have. I have 3 starting running backs. But I'm going to go with another high upside player. And maybe it's not a great move because it's a little bit further. And it's below my boy Kenny Gainwell. But did Jefferson go? Of course Jefferson went. Jefferson went. Fournette already went. You know what? I'm going to make the pick. I don't care. I'm taking Sony Michel. I think Sony Michel is going to wind up starting in LA. I don't trust Henderson to go and be the starter. I don't care if that's too early. I got 22 picks until I come back, or 20 picks. So I got some time. So I got a running back. Now I got 4 running backs. I got 5 receivers, tight end, quarterback. I got 4 picks left. Yeah, Justin Jefferson, I think he went in the second round. Yeah, Justin Jefferson went early. What other running backs were available? There was a bunch. So Phillip Lindsay, Pollard, Coleman, Moss, Drake, Williams, Murray, Jones. None of these guys are really like starting backs or ones that I feel confident about. But Sony Michel, for me, I think Michel, it's weird calling him Michel. I think Sony is going to be the starting back there. Or at least, and I don't have to start him either. He winds up sitting on my bench, for a while. Because I got Josh Jacobs, Montgomery, and Derrick Henry. You watching your team's bye weeks, right? Says Jets by Jimmy. I am not. I'm not looking at it because if they're all on bye weeks, okay, so Claypool and Lamb both have a week 7 bye. So I could put in Elijah Moore and Devonta Smith for that week. Running back wise, they're all fine. Yeah, it's really just, I guess I got week 11 bye for Stafford. Yeah, it's not that bad. Week 7 might be a little rough. Hopefully whoever I'm playing has some pretty bad buys also. Yeah, Robbie goes, it's getting thin. Yeah, well, that's just it. Like, there's when you get down to round 11, you're handcuffing your starting running backs, right? You're looking at your backup so that way in case your starter goes down, you have that guy. But Sony Michel, honestly, I was talking to Ray over at the Patriots Network, and he says he really likes Sony Michel. He was actually surprised he wound up getting moved. But I think Michel in that Rams offense, if he can catch the ball, can make him a very interesting option. I had a person post his team in my AFC East Facebook group, and he had 11 players on a bye in week 14 out of a 16-player roster. That's not the worst thing to have happen, unless you drafted the entire team. Yeah, it's not good. If you have 11 players on a bye in the same week, then you just punt on that week, right? But then you have your starters the rest of the time, as long as everyone's healthy. But that leads me to believe he probably drafted too many players from the same team, and that's probably not a good choice anyway. So Deebo Samuel goes, Coleman goes, Pollard goes, Drake goes, Koo, Tucker, Hines, Moss, Shepard, all off the board at this point. Galladay and Express. So some of my guys are saying they're watching me. Watching. Sorry, I'm going through the live chat that's going through in this thing. In our draft, and people are watching me make my picks. It's probably not great. What are you guys saying in the chat? I still don't forgive the Rams for letting us win that game. So the hell with Sony Michel, says Liam. No, you know what? It works out for the better. Because Zach Wilson's going to be the better pro than Trevor Lawrence. Book it. I'm a reliable source of information. I've totally never been wrong about wanting Le'Veon Bell or liking 𝐗-𝐅𝐼e or wanting to sign certain players that we definitely shouldn't sign. So definitely listen to me when it comes to that. Where did Robbie go? It says Gohan Angered. Where did Robbie go? Robbie was 7th round. I'm not touching Robbie. I don't think Sam and Robbie are going to be able to connect just like they weren't really able to connect in New York. I think Sam's deep ball is not very good. Ryan, we know you bought a Tremaine Johnson jersey. I did not buy a Tremaine Johnson jersey. I did not buy one. The last few jerseys I bought a Sam Darnold, I bought a Jamal Adams, and then I didn't buy one last year. I wore my Jamal Adams, but it had like impeached written on the back with the E's being 3s. And then Sack Exchange sent me a Nick Mangold jersey. I've decided I'm only gonna wear my historical jerseys, because normally when I buy a new jersey, it I don't know if I'm the jinx or if we've just been drafting bad. Zachary Berner says, how high will Elijah Moore go in next year's fantasy draft, do you think, Ryan? It all depends on how he plays this year. If he shows out with Zach Wilson, there's no reason he can't be a top 4 round pick. I mean, I just got him, what round was that, 9? You could definitely see him top 4, especially in a PPR league. If he winds up, it's not unreasonable to think that Elijah Moore in a 17-game season, I mean, he's probably going to have 75-plus receptions. He might get close to 100. It depends what type of connection they have. Did I get a Golston jersey? I did not. I wore a lot of older jerseys growing up. I shouldn't say older, but I had my Wayne Corbett jersey was my favorite. I had a Curtis Martin jersey, Vinny Testaverde, Chad Pennington, Vilma. Then I think after Vilma, I had a Favre. I had Sheldon Richardson. And then I think I went Sam and Jamal. I think that's the way I kind of took it. I should get a new jersey every year. I don't. I'll be honest, I don't love the new jerseys a whole heck of a lot. I kind of would like to see them change it. But honestly, the white jerseys are pretty fresh. I'm a big fan of the white jersey. And I think once we start winning, it's going to look a lot better too. I think that's probably where I'm at. The green it's an odd green. Actually, I shouldn't say it's an odd green. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see them get rid of those weird triangles on the shoulder. Douglas Do Wrong. That's good, dude. Am I excited for the season? You're damn right I'm excited for the season. I'm looking forward to our Jets going down to Miami, putting a whooping on some Tua. No, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. The AFC East is riddled with a bunch of young quarterbacks, and this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. You're going to be looking at Josh Allen. Is he going to be able to duplicate what he's done last year from the preseason? It looks like he's, kind of picking up right where he left off. And then you got Mac, Tua, and Zach. You don't know how these guys are going to react to NFL games full speed. We saw a little bit of Tua last year, but I think this offense is definitely built better for Tua than last year's was. Looking forward to seeing you at MetLife. Gonna be fun. Yeah, dude. Douglas Do Wrong. I'll head over to the Miami game. My cousin's actually taking classes in New York City, and he's from Florida, so he's kind of a Miami fan. So I'll probably wind up going to that game. I gotta reach out to him. I haven't even looked for tickets. I don't even know when that game is. When is that game? Is it back half of the year? Second half of the year? November? I think it's November. Could be wrong. Chat will let me know where it is. Who will be surprisingly Jets this year? Justin Crazy. What's up, dude? Who will be the surprisingly Jets this year? The surprisingly Jets. Does that mean who will be the team that's way worse than we were expecting? Or who will be the surprise Jet that plays well? I don't have enough information to answer your question, Justin. Curly says, I think they missed an opportunity not making a third jersey gray. I agree. As much as I like the black in the color scheme, I don't necessarily love the... No, I shouldn't say I don't love the all-black jerseys. but I think a lot of teams have black. And with a fighter jet gray, like an F-16 gray, I think that would have been a cool colorway with the green. I think that would have been the way I would have. That's what I hoped they were going to do. And then you bring back that 80s, 90s logo with the swoosh. That's my favorite logo. I do like this logo a lot. Where is it? That one. I don't mind that logo. I'm cool with that logo. I do like it more than our previous logo. But I really like the swoosh logo. That's why it's in my logo.
Team is now on the clock.
Oh no, I'm on the clock. Ty Johnson goes before me. We got a Jet fan just before me picking, so I'm losing some interesting players. He's like Curtis Samuel, Juju Smith-Schuster. It's guys that we were all kind of like keeping an eye on as Jet fans. All right. So where am I going with this? Who we got quarterback wise? Do I go kicker? Go kicker, I go quarterback. Bum, 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 bum. So I got 4 more picks. I got 2 pretty much back to back. You know what? I'm doing it now so that way someone doesn't steal them from me. I'm taking Zach Wilson. Pulling the trigger. Took Zach Wilson in the 12th round. I don't care if it's a bad pick. It's better than picking a kicker. Trevor Lawrence is so much higher than him. I don't agree. Disagree strongly. But now I get to root for Zach Wilson because he's on my bench. You guys saying time for Amendola? I forgot I was going to take Amendola. So someone's gonna beat me to the punch. Someone who's watching the stream is gonna be like, "Oh, let's take Amendola to piss Ryan off." See, I'm a good Jets fan. I would have taken Corey Davis. Corey Davis didn't make it back to me though. I wanted to keep my mouth shut on that because I know if I talk up Corey Davis too much, would not be good. Oh, you son of a! Oh, they just took Gronk 1 pick before me, motherfucker. Ugh. Tight ends. Give me another tight end. I need a backup tight end here. I don't really want to take Herndon. Man, that's frustrating. Ebron with Pittsburgh. Cook with the Chargers. Hooper. Goddard. Man, tight end is thin. Thin. I don't know. Tanyan. Probably. No, I don't see him on here. Tanyan's gone. Who we got? What are you guys talking to me? Everson on Seattle. He's gone. Long gone. I got 𝐗-𝐿. I don't even know how to say that name. From Chicago. Goddard, Ertz, Hooper, Ingram, Jarwin, Hunter Henry. Man, really nothing like that great. Pat Fryermuth stashed on the bench. Dan Arnold. Who's Dan Arnold? I have no idea who that is. He's available. Oh, I'm not touching tight end. Get the hell out of here. That late. All right. Taking Hooper. Pulling the trigger. Screw it. So I got 2 more picks. I can't believe they took Gronk right before me. Can't believe they did it. What a jerk. Really not happy with the way that worked out. Brian says pick a kicker. I'll take a kicker. I'll take a kicker in like the last round. I don't even know what position I need. My roster is all filled out except for kicker. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs, 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks. It's really kicker and like, I don't know, kicker and someone else. Blankenship. I'm not taking Blankenship. Is he on a team? I think he's on a team. Take Butker or Koo at kicker. I think both those guys are already gone. I think someone started pulling the trigger on kickers. What color is kickers? Kickers are the same as special teams. Yeah, Lutz, Butker, Tucker, Koo. All those guys went. Carson went. I don't think I have anything to worry about with Amendola. I'm sure he'll be there. He is. Jets kickers historically not a great option. I'll usually take one just to like hope. Like I had Jason Myers that year. That was pretty good for that 1 year. What will the final score be when the Jets win Week 1? Says Justin Crazy. I will say. I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game because I don't think the Jets defense is gonna be able to stop Carolina. I guess if there's one thing that we have kind of going for us is that Sam Darnold's the quarterback on the other side, and I kind of trust him to make some mistakes. But I think the winner's going to have to score 30 points. Jets by Jimmy says 31-20. See, we're on the same wavelength. Winner's going to have to score 30 points. Should I take 2 kickers? Backup kicker? I'm not taking 2 kickers. That's silly. Darnold will be running for his life. Zachary Berner says passing yards 4,196. 27 touchdowns, 16 rushing yards. That's wrong. 16 interceptions. That's what fantasy stats sees Zach Wilson doing. Yeah, 4,000 yards. I mean, look, he'll break our passing record for 4,000 yards. 27 touchdowns, 16. I think that's about right. What did I have when I did my? Did I have him over 20? I don't know if I had him over 20. I think I had him at like 18 and 12 or 18 and 14. It wasn't like a great spread. That was before we got to see him. That was preseason. Where do we go? Boys and girls. Got 2 picks left. Man, I was like really set to only do a 2-hour stream tonight. And then this friggin' draft started at 9:30. Ugh. Jets and Panthers are honestly pretty similar in terms of the roster, says Nick Hunter. Maybe. McCaffrey's definitely a game breaker that we don't really have. I mean, maybe you say Elijah Moore's a game breaker potentially, but he's not a running back and a receiving threat. Our running back's going to be very much committee-based. Our offensive line, I think, is way better than the Panthers' offensive line. I would say both teams look like they should probably get a top 10 pick next year. That's about as similar as I'll say the Jets and Panthers are. I do think that there's a really good shot the Panthers have a high pick. Rich Ritter says, what will Darnold's stats be for the game? Oh, God. They're going to look better than when he was with us because he's going against a secondary that I don't know if it's equipped to tackle the speed we're going to have to go against. I'll say 300 yards passing. 2 touchdowns in it. Oh, God, that's like the same thing I'm saying for Wilson. That's not good. Okay, let me retry that. Since the Jets are going to win Week 1, Sam Darnold's going to have to pass a lot. Let's say 275, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. They score a lot with McCaffrey out of the backfield. Darnold will go 17 of 34, 230, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Jets by Jimmy and I, we're kind of similar on that. I said more yardage. I said 275. How many times did Darnold go over that in his career? Probably not many. Justin says, imagine the Jets win week 1 and the Finns and the Pats tie and the Bills lose. The Jets would actually be in first place. Are the Bills first and the Chiefs week 1? Is that who their first matchup is? They have a... No, it's not the Chiefs. Who are they playing? Is it Steelers? Now I don't know. They have a pretty... Their schedule is interesting. Steelers first for them. They have... If you're looking at the Bills' schedule, you're probably thinking they got the Ravens, the Titans, the Chiefs, the Bucks. Those are the 4 hardest games for them. And then there's like other games like the Steelers, the Dolphins that could like provide some issues. It's interesting. Mr. Wrecked says Sam is going to throw 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 4 sacks. If Sam gets sacked 4 times, Jets are winning this game. I think if we can get to Sam, we have nothing to worry about. 3 picks away.
Your team is now on the clock.
My team's on the clock. God, who do I want? Do I go kicker or do I kicker in the last one? Where is our boy? Oh, man. Ficken's rated higher than him? I don't know if I want to take Amendola. I feel like I'm going to put some bad juju on us. Let's see. Who are the top available players? I should probably take someone like that. Man, this late in the game, not good. Projected points. God, I'm just like looking for someone. Someone that's not a quarterback. What we got? Wide receiver. Guess I'll go running back, right? All right, and then I'll go kicker in the last round.
Team is now on the clock.
My team is now on the clock. All right. You know what? We'll take Amendola. We're going to roll with it. Screw it. Why not? All right. Final team. Here's what we got. I was looking at Gainwell. Gainwell was where I was looking. All right. So I got Matthew Stafford as my quarterback. I got Derrick Henry and Montgomery as my 2 running backs. And I got Josh Jacobs as well. Then I have CeeDee Lamb, Claypool, Devonta Smith, Elijah Moore as my receivers. I took 2 stabs at running backs with Rashad Penny and Sony Michel. Maybe someone goes down with an injury or they wind up pulling more snaps from him. I got Hooper as a backup tight end to Gesicki. Got Amendola as my kicker. I got Steelers defense. With Zach Wilson as my backup quarterback. I'll take that, boys and girls. I will take that. Boys, all right, it's been what? Where are we at? We're at 3 hours right now. Longer than I intended of streaming. All right, it's been fun. Drop a like on your way out of this stream. It's been fun, boys and girls. I'll see you tomorrow with Matt and Green Bean. J-E-T